Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. And in that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answers, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, September is upon us. Fall is just around the corner, and it's a good time of year. It's an awesome time of year because warm season lawns are still looking pretty good. The cool season folks that were struggling over the summer, trying to keep their lawns alive, are starting to see a glimmer of hope as the hottest part of the summer starts to fall away, and they start doing their overseeding and core aeration, maybe even a light top dressing this time of year, all those things. So it's a really cool time of year where really both grass types are really looking pretty good. So tonight we have some content, some pictures, updates from some Bermuda grass lawns. We have like a renovation, a transformation update. So we'll be able to share that for you guys as well. Hopefully the gentleman that sent it to me is on the live stream so I can make sure that he's here so we can show off where it is before and is after, which is pretty awesome. So as always, feel free to drop your questions or comments in the live stream, and we'll work through them in the order that they come in. As always, YouTube is our primary platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. If you want to skip the line as far as getting your question answered, or just feel like supporting the show, either way will work for me. You feel free to use the Cash App link, which is linked there, and we will we'll get you up there, your name and lights. Kind of like Mr. Archie Amos, he just sent a Cash App. Thank you so much, sir. $50 from Archie. So thanks so much. Let me get you. Before we get into it, let's go and just get that taken care of. Make sure I don't no misspellings here. So Mr. Archie Amos. All right, there you go, sir. So your name in lights for whatever that means to you. All right, let's get into it. So first of all, our first question up is Mr. Ahmad Jones. Man, he's not messing around. Ahmad has a question. He says, Can I do a late scalping on my Bermuda lawn? Can you? Yes. Would I this time of year? No, not really. Not unless you're doing it as part of preparing your lawn to overseed with ryegrass. So maybe you're one of those folks that you're on that Robert Rainey and a couple of the other Academy members that are going with the ryegrass overseed. If you're planning on doing that, then sure, yeah, scalping your lawn, thinning out the existing turf to make it easier for your overseed to take root and grow in nicely makes a lot of sense. If you're just going to scalp Bermuda this time of year and you're going to just leave it as Bermuda, I wouldn't, because the grass is already slowing down. Like, I'm already noticing it in the back lawn. Just as a test, I did not do my Primo app at the beginning of September. Because normally I do Primo September, beginning of September, mid-September, and then I do my last one perhaps in October. So I want to see, you know what, what's the growth rate do if I wean the lawn off Trinexapac Ethyl and a new Easy a little bit early? What happens? I did that, and I did notice a bit more growth, but not a ton, not as much as I would expect, given that the lawn is, it's kind of come out of regulation. So I say all that to say, Ahmad, is it Bermuda, especially if you're in Georgia, I'm not sure which part of the country you're in, but if you're in Georgia, Bermuda has already really slowed down, and unless you want to take the chance of it just looking kind of ugly, I personally would not go out and do a reset this late in the season. Obviously, it's your choice, but for me, I would say no, unless doing it is part of a larger plan. Again, like an overseed or something along those lines. All right, hope that helps, sir. Great question. All right, next up is BSS Smith. He says, what does it mean if I have rust-looking tips in small spots in my Zoysia? It could be disease. It could be rust. Like actually is a lawn disease that's often called rust. Here's the thing I've noticed when you see that, BSS Smith. Most folks, when I get emails around that question, and I've experienced it on my lawn. I've only experienced it one time, and it was when I wanted to test watering my lawn, the slope, every single day, and just to see what would happen. Like what happens to the lawn if I just put a lot more water on it than really you're really supposed to. And what you're discussing or what you're talking about is what I experienced happening. So what I would say with your Zoysia is, depending on how much water you're putting on the lawn, maybe try backing that off a little bit. Again, not sure what part of the country you're in, but over watering Zoysia is not a good thing. It's not a good thing for really any grass, but Zoysia can be a lot more disease prone than, say, Bermuda if it sees too much water. So I really would back that down if I'm you. So I'm not sure what your watering frequency is like. Not sure what else you may have going on with the lawn, but assuming, here's the checklist. Assuming you're not overdoing it, you're not over fertilizing, you're cutting the lawn with sharp equipments, you're not like increasing the likelihood of there being disease issues, and you're not over watering, that really should not be a problem in your lawn. Both in customer correspondence, so people emailing me, and in my personal experience, when the lawn is, you're running too much irrigation, or you have a stretch where you get like rain 3 or 4 days in a row, and then you get like hot weather afterwards, like then you'll see some of these, like the rust spots you're talking about. The nice thing is whenever you back off or you reduce the amount of watering, it clears up on its own. It's not something that I would necessarily go out and apply a fungicide for. I wouldn't be too quick to go out and do that. I mean, you can if you want to, but I wouldn't. I would just, if you're watering a whole lot, back it off, wait a few days, and then see how the lawn improves. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. Sorry you're dealing with that, but that's normally a pretty easy one to solve, based on, some things I told you to think about there. And I'm sure you'll figure out which one of those applies to your lawn. All right. All right, next up, we have DH. He says, I applied a split application of Spectacle Flow last weekend, 1/10 of an ounce, a gallon of water over 1,000 square feet. I like it. When should I apply the second app west of Atlanta? So it's really up to you. I can tell you what I do. My second app of Spectacle happens in the end of November, going into December. So around Thanksgiving, that weekend is when I'll go out and get my next app of Spectacle in. And again, you can apply again at the 0.1 ounce per 1,000 rate. You can actually go up a little bit if you want to, because the 0.1 ounce per 1,000 rate is really on the low end. If you look at the label of Spectacle, at least for Bermuda grass anyway, it's like you're not supposed to exceed more than like 0.2 ounces in a single app. Right. And then the actual annual limit is quite a bit higher than that. It's something like almost like 18 ounces over an acre. So it's a lot, right? Which we never really get towards. So what I have found is that, one, Spectacle is not inexpensive, so why not use as little of it as we can while still getting a good result? And a tenth of an ounce in September and another one in November, December has worked really well for me. Again, you can bump that up a little bit more if you want to, especially if you're someone that waits till, say, March to get your pre-emergent out, your spring pre-emergent out. Then you may want to go up to maybe 0.15 as far as per thousand for your second app. With me, I do my spring pre-emergent in February. So really, Spectacle has to carry the lawn through December, January, some of February, which is plenty easy for it. It's got a really long residual, so there's no issue with that at all. And then it's seeing either Prodiamine or dithiopyr in February, right? So what I'll tell you, to answer your question, late November, early December is when you do your second app. And then as far as rate, you can stick with the same rate, or if you want to go up just a little bit, you can absolutely do that and still be well within the limits for Spectacle on a Bermuda grass lawn. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. You made a good choice, man. It was a good choice. Spectacle is not inexpensive, but it is worth every penny. It's worth every penny. And I've tried a lot of different pre-emergents for the fall, and for my testing, nothing really touches what Spectacle Flow does. So good choice. All right, next up is Ninos. Yohana, it's been a minute, man. He says, I'm back after a holiday with my big like. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much for hitting the like button. I completed a full renovation of my lawn where I removed my Frankenstein grass and weeds and planted new Kentucky bluegrass from scratch. Posted the update and pictures on the Facebook group. Man, Ninos, why can't you email them to me, man? Because I'm on the group. I don't know if I can find it and download them really quickly. Let me see here. What he's referring to is our private Facebook group. I don't know when we'll find a post from you, man. I've got some here from other folks, but I don't see anything from you. And you're the top, Nino. So here's the thing. If you can get an email to me during the show, I'll show the folks what you're working with. Ron at golfcourselawn.com. You already know that. But if you're looking to, if you want folks to see your renovation results, I am happy to show them. And but you just email it to me because I'm not seeing it here near the top of the feed in the private Facebook group. All right. Glad to have you back, man. I hope all is well in your world. And the follow-up question is, do you still have Essential G left? No, there's no Essential G left. It's only carbonized PNG at this point. So the replacement for Essential G is this guy right here, carbonized PNG. The new hotness, the replacement for it. So, yep, if you got Essential G, you got a bag or two, maybe take the bag and, make it nice and smooth and put it on your wall in the garage, because that's going to be it. I don't believe Essential G is coming back. And not that I've heard from Miramichi in the foreseeable future. It might happen, but not anytime soon. All right. Okay, next up is Mr. Jackie Bear. He says, have an excellent stream, sir. So going on, Jackie, thank you so much for that. I appreciate the love and support as always. And then next up, we have Jason Carney. He has a question about reel mowing. His first year reel mowing, and some questions about verticutting and just thinning the lawn out. He says, my first year reel mowing and my mower started scalping mid-season. Not surprised. To fix this problem, some suggest to verticut, then others suggest scalping. So we're halfway there, one of two. What's the other second of it? I don't see. Oh, here we go. Which one fixes scalping? I know verticutting clears up the thatch, while scalping resets your head of cut. Which do you recommend? What does your verticut and scalp schedule look like to prevent scalping? Excellent question, Jason. Okay, so when you are reel mowing Bermuda grass, one of the beautiful things about reel mowing Bermuda is it encourages all that lateral growth. It gets nice and thick, and it produces an amazing stand of turf grass. The negative thing about reel mowing Bermuda is that it gets super nice and thick, and when you get to the middle of the season, late May, early June timeframe, the mower, because the turf gets so thick, instead of the mower riding on the surface, what it tends to do is ride on, it starts to float a little bit. It starts to ride on that layer of grass. And what you start finding is you'll get scalping in areas that you did not get it before. So it's completely normal. It's kind of a pain, but what you're experiencing is not like an edge case. Like pretty much everyone that reel mows their lawn consistently is going to experience this. Now, as far as thinning it out, scalping or verticutting, either one will work well. The big thing what we're trying to do is just thin out the canopy. Verticutting, if you have the ability to do that, is my preference, because if you do a good job with verticutting, you could verticut a lawn, and from 10, 15 feet away, 20 feet away, you really can't tell a whole lot was done if you did it right? You'll be able to thin the lawn out, you'll improve the way the mower cuts and how it runs on the surface, but you won't really lose a lot of color. And overall, it's in my opinion, if you have the ability to do it, you have a machine to be able to do it, it is a better way of thinning out the lawn. If you don't have that, then yeah, you can absolutely get out there, lower your height of cut, do a scalp, and essentially you're accomplishing the same thing. You're thinning out the canopy. It's just you're taking a lot more debris out. You are going to take a hit to color when you do that, right? Because you're cutting a lot of the green off. You're just really lowering that height of cut. But both of them, for your purposes, will improve the issue with the mower floating. You're going to give the lawn a reset. Of the two, I prefer verticutting over scalping. Now, as far as your second part of your question, as far as schedule, once we get into the end of May, that is when I will do verticutting. So end of May, early June, verticut. End of June, early July, verticut. And then if you really want to, you can do one more at the end of July going into August. So really a maximum of 3 is what I find works best. If you can do, anything that you do is going to be better than doing nothing. But I'd say the one at the end of May, early June is really critical, because if you get that one done, the lawn is really going to look good, and it's not going to be really until like late July that you'll start seeing the same problem return, because Bermuda starts growing so much more aggressively once it gets hotter. So of the two, I find verticutting to be the superior choice. The challenge a lot of folks have is that unless you have like an Allet, or you have an actual verticutting machine that has a basket or some way to catch the debris, it creates quite a mess, right? So you get out there and you verticut and you just throw a lot of the debris back in the lawn. Now your work's only halfway done. Now you have to go out there and get a rake and rake all the debris up and get it out. So scalping, for some people, they find it to be easier because you can just throw the grass catcher on. Most of the debris goes in the grass catcher, and you save yourself a lot of cleanup work that you would get with verticutting if you don't have a machine that can capture all the debris. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. I like where your mind is. You didn't do anything wrong. It's par for the course when it comes to Bermuda grass if it is being highly maintained with a reel mower, which yours is being highly maintained with a reel mower. So for next season, just plan for a verticut in, you might be able to get by with 2. If you could plan for one end of May, early June, and then plan for your next one like 6 weeks later, you might be able to get by with 2 and still have the lawn look really good. And you'll notice a difference. If you, after you're done verticutting, how can I explain it? The best way to explain it is that whenever when the lawn, right after a verticut, the mower feels almost like it's riding on concrete. Like if you can feel it, you can really tell just the way the mower rides on the turf, that it's actually riding on like soil, on the actual, like, it's not floating. It's a lot more grounded, I guess is probably the best way to say it. You'll absolutely feel the difference just in the way the mower feels when you're pushing it after a verticut versus before. So again, a lot of work, but I'd highly recommend it. Even if you only do it once, you can ask yourself afterwards, hey, was it worth all this headache? But you'll really notice an improvement in the way the lawn looks after you're done. And if you're interested, while I look for the next comment, I will send you a live stream that I did a couple of years ago on where I did all what I'm talking about. I verticut, I turf raked, and then I mowed the lawn afterwards. I did the whole Monty all in one live stream. It's almost like 3 hours long of me outdoors doing it. You don't have to watch the entire thing if you don't want to, but I mean, it gives you an idea of what it should look like, how I set the machine up, like how the lawn should look after you're done. So you can see, am I going too aggressive? Am I not going aggressive enough? So yeah, you probably find some value in this. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Appreciate the question. If you need anything else, let me know. All right. Next up, we got Mr. Oh, where are we? We have, I want to make sure I don't leave. We have Claude Thompson. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. Thanks again, Jackie. I appreciate you. And then Claude is up next. He says, hey, Ron, Claude here from Connecticut with a cool season lawn. It's funny. All the cool season folks feel the need to say, hey, listen, man, it's me. I got a cool season lawn. Show us some love too. Always got love for you guys, Claude. So I appreciate you coming in anyway, even though a lot of the stuff I talk about really applies to both grasses, but everyone thinks I'm more of a warm season channel. But really, I have love for all grass types. All right. He says, I fought for dear life to keep my lawn healthy, but lost the battle to the summer heat in August, and now I've been trying to bring the lawn back. You can, man. It will absolutely come back. So even if it goes, you may have experienced some dormancy if it really dried out. Now that the hottest part of the year is gone and the lawn, temps should be cooling down with you, especially being further up north in Connecticut, you should find the lawn should return pretty nicely. I mean, make sure you just keep up with your watering, keep up with your mowing, and the lawn should bounce back fairly nicely. I mean, you may have to overseed, but I mean, I am a fan of telling folks that unless you absolutely need it, right? Unless you need to overseed your lawn to recover it in the fall, given the choice between overseeding or applying pre-emergent, if you can do it, I would lean you towards doing pre-emergent, because that is going to prevent a lot more headache for you, going into the fall and into next spring. If you don't do pre-emergent in the fall, you're going to be fighting cool season weeds, like your henbit, POA annua. You're going to be fighting all those, and it's a lot more of a headache to get rid of those after the fact. And with you having a cool season lawn, I'm not sure what kind of grass you have. If it's fescue or rye, then you can use Velocity to control POA annua. If you've got Kentucky bluegrass, then there's only certain cultivars that really tolerate this well, right? So I say all that to say that a couple of well-timed applications of pre-emergent, like now, and another one in your case, 4 weeks or so before your first frost, will do a lot for keeping POA out of your lawn versus having to resort to something like this to clean it up after the fact, which is an expensive option, and it's just, you can avoid it with pre-emergent. So all that to say, man, just keep doing what works well. Water it, feed it, mow it, and see how it's recovering. And if you don't have to overseed, I personally would not, because then you're able to use pre-emergent and prevent, or just ward off a whole bunch of other headaches that you would otherwise have. So hope that helps, sir. If I can help with anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. John Williams is in the live stream. He's like, let's go. What's going on, John? Hope you're doing well. Mr. Archie Amos says, evening, young man. Looking forward to another great show. I'll do my best, Archie. It's going to be a show. Whether it's going to be great or not, I leave it to you to decide. You can vote. You can leave me a comment card at the end. Let me know how it did. All right. And you said, as the temperature is going down, have a great show. I appreciate that. Claude, yeah, it'll bounce back, man. I mean, it's a rough time for cool season lawns in the summer. It really is. It's a tough time to get through. I mean, you really got to do your moisture manager. You got to keep up with your watering. You just have to really just kind of nurse the lawn through the hottest time of the year, So you're past that now, so it should start getting better. All right. Provisions Barbecue says, I just put down BioAdvance 24-hour grub killer on my new lawn, perennial ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass mix about 2 weeks from seeding. Did I make a mistake? These grubs are ruining my beautiful lawn. No. The insecticide really shouldn't materially affect your seeding results. So if you're going to seed a couple weeks from now, so mid to the third week of September, you're going to be just fine. No problems at all with that. All right, Devin hath entered the chat. What's going on, Devin? He says, hey, Ron, looking forward to some good turf talk. I appreciate that, Devin. Thanks for coming by to say hello. Appreciate you as always. Let me show you. We'll break out the Zoysia because it's looking, frankly, nicer this time of year. So this is literally, let me see. It's about, actually, this picture and video are right at an hour old. I went outside right before the live stream and did both of these. So this is picture of the lawn right before the show. You can see the shade from the tree across the street. And this is the Zoysia. It's a week after having been sprayed with Spectacle Flow. Last weekend, it got its first taste of pre-emergent. Seems to still be doing just fine. And I'll show you guys a quick update as far as how it's filling in. The heavy spot where we had a top dress, you can see that's growing in nicely. Grass is starting to grow over it. And then we have another area here. Still taking its time, but there's more Zoysia poking through, which makes me happy. Who knows? Maybe by the end of the season, it will be completely filled in. We'll see. Zoysia is, it's a grass that is put on this planet to teach you patience. I mean, it's gorgeous, but man, heaven help you if you damage it, because it's going to take its sweet time to recover. But yeah, Devin, again, send me some dates whenever you got a free minute. I mean, no rush. I'll be here. Just let me know whenever you got time, and we'll get on the show and have you to chat about whatever you want to. Anything cool season related, whatever you want to talk about. We won't talk about football. I need to keep you and Robert apart. I'm not going to bring up the thing that happened this past weekend. We'll just let that go. We're not going to talk about it too much, because I'm sure they'll be back, and this next weekend they'll do really good. So we're never going to mention it. If Devin knows what I'm talking about, Robert probably knows what we're talking about, and we'll just leave it at that. All right, next up is Higgy Pop. He says, happy Friday, everyone. I think it's almost time for that first round of pre-emergent. Yeah, I would agree with you, Higgy. I got mine done last weekend. If you want to get yours done this weekend, you absolutely can. I'm of the opinion that when it comes to pre-emergent, a bit early is better than a little bit late. You're still well within the window. So if you want to get your pre-emergent out this weekend, or even next weekend, you're still good to go. But again, I would just err towards early versus late, especially if you're using Spectacle. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff lasts per the label, I think they say 10 months, depending on if you went with a higher rate, but easily 6 months. So, there's no reason to really not apply it a bit earlier in the season, in my opinion, to keep POA out of your lawn. And you just hit the like button for Ron. Let's do that, guys. We got 83 folks in the live stream, only 34 likes. Now, here's the thing. I'm appreciative of the 34 likes. I mean, not that I'm not, I'm not feeling the love from that, but we can certainly do better than that. Better than 35. So if you guys would not mind hitting the like button ever so gently, I'm going to take a sip of my beverage. Tonight we are drinking Chick-fil-A lemonade along with a blend of like a freshly juiced watermelon, lime, ginger, and I think that's it. I think those are the three things that are in here. So I'll put on some intermission music. Well, if you can see, we can summon LG while I also look for the next comment and have a sip of my cocktail. That's tasty. All right. Next up, we have OG. The OG, he says, hey, Ron, how's it going? Can't complain, man. Fair to middling. Can I apply Prodiamine on my Bermuda grass instead of Spectacle Flow this weekend? If so, at what rate? Can you? Yes, absolutely, you can. At what rate? So here's the thing. It depends on what your strategy is going to be for pre-emergent next year, and also what you did in the spring. So if you applied, say, dithiopyr in the spring to where you've not applied Prodiamine at all this year at all, then what I would say is you could apply Prodiamine at a rate of, what kind of grass you have, Bermuda, at 0.40 ounces, so half the annual limit now. And then when we get into December, you could do another app again at 0.4 ounces per thousand. That's going to get you pretty much at the limit for this year for Prodiamine. And that advice, again, is based on the assumption that you did not use Prodiamine as your pre-emergent in the spring. So when it comes to like next year, I imagine you're going to switch to like dithiopyr or Dimension, and that would be fine. And then if you did, again, an app of Prodiamine now, and again, another one, December, that's going to be pretty good. So, an option like this, like Resolute 65, looks like a dispersible granule, or wherever you happen to have, is what I would, should work well. If you're only going with Prodiamine, you are going to want to do more than one app. You really are, because just it by itself, it's not really going to be enough to carry you all the way into springtime. You're going to be fighting POA if you don't do a second app. All right, so with Spectacle, you can do one app at a higher rate now, and that really could carry you until February, March timeframe. But with Prodiamine, this is not gonna happen. You're gonna have to do an app now, and then another one, I'd say December. 3 months or so from now, do another one, and that will get you. That'll extend your coverage and get you into the spring. But what rate you can use is really based on how you've been using this pre-emergent this year already. So if you've not used it at all, then it's awesome. You can use half now, 0.40 now, and another 0.40 in December, and that's really going to be your best bet if you're just using only Prodiamine. But just know that in the spring, you're going to want to rotate to Dimension, rotate to something else. All right. Hope that helps, OG. I like where your mind is though about getting your pre-emergent out. It's a smart thing to do this time of year. It is far easier, both from a time standpoint and a cost standpoint, to prevent weeds versus fight them after the fact. You're still going to fight some, but you can fight a whole lot less if you just get some pre-emergent out. All right, next up is Mr. John Williams. Actually, no, next up is Mr. True Gator Fan. He says, happy Friday, Ron. What do you use for Spurge? And would you treat it this late in the season or just let it ride? Common Bermuda. I use Celsius. That's what I use. It's my option. That's what I go with. Celsius makes quick work or Spurge. This is what I go with. And would I treat it this time of year? Yeah, if you want to get rid of it, you absolutely can. It's still going to be effective. Celsius is what I would go with. Celsius and surfactant, this combination here will make quick work of Spurge. That's what I do on my lawn, mulch beds. Does a great job. And again, I even sprayed some in the Zoysia. I had some like where the pavers are is where the Spurge tends to grow. What I tend to find in my lawn is that in the middle of the lawn where the barrier doesn't really get disturbed, Spurge doesn't really grow there. It's normally along the edges, like where I'm using a stick edger or I have pavers, like areas that get disturbed quite a bit, like pretty much weekly throughout the season. That is where I have breakthrough with weeds and to include Spurge. So Celsius and surfactant, that's what I roll with to knock it out. All right. Next up is John Williams. John Williams entered the live stream, and he says, "So I purchased some Certainty and was planning on spraying the edges, but it seems like the Celsius actually did a bit of damage to them. Does Celsius control sedges? Does Certainty control sedges as well?" I'm not sure your question. Okay, so you got Certainty. Okay, you got Certainty with the goal of controlling sedges, but you use Celsius. Yeah, Celsius, I believe, is labeled to control some of them, but not. It doesn't have nearly the control that Certainty does. Let me check. Let's look at the label together. Let's look at the label together, John. Let us see. I want to say that some of the sedges are on there, but they are not. It's not like Certainty. Like for sedge control, I just reach for Certainty. That's what you're gonna want to go with if you are. Maybe Kalinga is what it will do. Let's see. See if Certainty's labeled for sedges. Yeah, so green Kalinga. So it's not, Kalinga isn't technically a sedge. They're like kissing cousins of sedges, but I don't see sedges like green nut sedge or any sedges on the list. If I just search for sedge, you don't see it. So I'll show you really quickly here. John, if we go to this Celsius label, so if you look here, that's it, Celsius. If we scroll down to the section of like, what all does it control? You see green Kalinga in there. You see that? That is, that's a, a weed that is labeled to control. So you may have some effect against sedges, but really what you want is Certainty. Certainty is what you want to go with. So, Certainty for sedge control, Celsius for broadleaf control. And it looks like it'll do some Kalinga, but again, honestly, when I've had a little bit of Kalinga along the fringes of my lawn, anything that's a sedge or Kalinga, I just reach for Certainty because it's just so much better than Celsius. Celsius is really your broadleaf. That's what it is really amazing for us, what it shines at, in my opinion. All right. So hope that helps, John. And then next up, we have John Williams. He says, my lawn has definitely slowed down as far as growth. Savannah, Georgia, Celebration, Bermuda. Are you grass people having the same situation? I think we've been averaging maybe 80s. Yeah, it is slowing down, John. I mean, you gotta remember, like in the summertime, like you have temps in the 90s and it's like 90s for a lot of the day. And you have more sunlight. Like the days are getting shorter as far as the amount of available sunlight. So you take the summer where it's hotter and there's more sunlight, and that's like a recipe for Bermuda just to light off and grow like wildfires. So not surprising that you are seeing slower growth this time of year. In other words, it's behaving as it's supposed to behave. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. All right, let's see here. Make a note for True Gator fans question, because it's a really good one. I'm sure someone else is going to have that. So. Okay, so next up we have Mr. Doug Flanders. What's going on, Doug? He says grass quantum. So Doug is a martial artist at, he has his own studio now. He has his own dojang as well now, but he also trains at Rock Solid Karate, at the place where I train. He says, when is the best time to start fall pre-emergent? Now. Like the trucks, like I did mine last weekend, and in my neighborhood, the insert whatever green in the company's name, they're out here already spraying in the neighborhood. They're spraying Spectacle. A lot of them are spraying Spectacle. So in the springtime, they spray Prodiamine. In the fall, they spray Spectacle. But yeah, that's what I would get going, Doug. If you've got Prodiamine, I don't think you had I think you get the little small 5 ounce. If you still have that, you can use it this time of year. The best product, however, for controlling weeds, keeping weeds out of your lawn this time of year is this. This is what I use, Spectacle. Spectacle Flow, awesome product. Not inexpensive, but that one bottle on the size of your lawn, you'll have it for years and years and years. So consider an investment in a weed-free lawn in the fall, winter, and even early spring. It is that good. It's not inexpensive, but it's worth every penny. Every penny. If you want to take a look, you can right there. I'm sure Doug's even still in here, but this is the product I'm talking about, Spectacle Flow. All right, next up we have Jason Carney. He says, I use Spectacle Flow year round due to my doveweed problem in the spring. That's an option as well too. Following your recommendation for fall split app, 0.1 per thousand, September, December. And you said one of two, so I guess the second part of the question. Is it okay to put down spectacle flow at 0.2 in late February for spring pre-emergent? Is that too close to December app? Should I move my December app to November? So if you're doing spectacle, if you're going to use spectacle in the spring, I would go for late February then, Jason, because you go late Feb. That would be okay. So if you did a 10th. So the rate for, what kind of grass do you have, Bermuda? The rate for spectacle is 10 ounces per acre. That's the highest single app rate. And if you do the math on that, it works to like 0.4 or something. It's actually quite a bit heavier than we're spraying. So if you take 10, you divide it by 43. You end up with like 0.23 ounces, right? So that's the max you would do in a single app. So if you did 0.10 now, well, if for me, I would do 0.10 now, maybe another 0.10 in December. And then if you're going to use it in the spring, you could go up to, do 0.2. You could do 0.15 in the spring is what I would say. I'd back it off a little bit if it were me. Here's why. I'm fine with applying spectacle a bit heavier in the fall. If you're using it as your spring pre-emergent, you want to be careful with going with the higher end of the rate card, because you can see a delay in green up if you go that route. There's people that use spectacle year round, like what you're trying to do, and it can work. But if you're using it as your spring pre-emergent, I would back the rate down just a little bit. I wouldn't be too heavy-handed, because you don't want to potentially slow down how quickly your Bermuda comes out of dormancy. All right, that's the only thing I would tell you. But other than that, if you want to use it year round, you can. I don't do that. I like rotating to either Dimension or Prodiamine, but if that's what you want to go with, you absolutely can, given that you said you fight quite a bit of doveweed in your lawn. All right. All right, so next up we have BS Smith. He says, no irrigation. Last for it was about a month ago, Central Maryland. I don't know. I'm trying to think, BS Smith. I mean, if you're not irrigation, you're not watering, I'd say give it some time, man. I mean, if you've had a lot of rainfall, in a short period of time, you can get some rust from that. I mean, can you apply fungicide for it? Yes. Most cases, though, when you reduce the amount of water the lawn is seeing, that it tends to kind of clear up on its own. So it's really your call. If you want to go the fungicide route, what I would say is, if you want, I'd probably do a liquid, honestly, if you're going to go that route. So if you go to shop and then fungicide, you can go with Pillar SE. That would be the option that I would choose for a liquid fungicide. If you decide you don't think it's a watering issue, you think it's actually a disease, and you don't want to kind of wait it out, you want to get ahead of it, then Pillar SC would be a way to go. But again, for most folks, I find just a bit of patience, and it tends to clear up on its own. All right, but I'll send you this link in case you want to take a look at it, and you can decide for which way you want to go. All right. And as far as Pillar, it's really easy to apply. The rate is 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet. So 1 ounce in a gallon or 2 gallons of water, however you want. In your case, because you don't have irrigation, I'd probably do 1 ounce in 2 gallons of water and spray that over 1,000 square feet. So 1 ounce, 2 gallons of water over 1,000 square feet, because you don't have the ability to easily water it in. Okay, next up, we have John Williams. He's leading the charge. He says, like, subscribe, and share, grass people. I like it, John. Thanks so much for that. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate you leading that. And then next up, we says, as far as water and run, what's your watering schedule as the grass slows down and even into dormancy? What do you do? Maybe once per week, depending on the forecast? Yeah, so I've been doing an experiment with the Zoysia, and I got a lot of people saying, yeah, 1 week of not watering your lawn. Yeah, big whoop. So I was doing an experiment with the Zoysia where I haven't watered it, or I was not watering it for like 2 weeks without any irrigation, and it still looks good. The Bermuda, however, started to not like that as much. So I'm still doing a Monday, Friday schedule on the Bermuda, and then the Zoysia starting this Monday, we'll go back to that Monday, Friday. When we get into probably the end of this month, I'll be able to back that off. I'll be able to go like to once per week, depending on rain, is what I would say. That's what I would say, John. All right. So look at the forecast in your area. I mean, the high today was still pretty hot, I believe. I think we still almost got into the 90s. Let's see. Yeah, it was still in the high 80s, still high 80s today, and even right now it's 78 degrees, right? So it's still not completely cooled off. But if you, I know you're in Savannah, so if in where you are, it's already cooling down a bit, and you want to, either keep your current watering schedule from a standpoint of the days you water, but simply just shorten the amount of time you run each zone, you could do that and just kind of observe the grass, see what it likes. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Michael Thomas, and he says, "Hello, Ron. Did, as you suggested, change from single stripes to doubles. Still going to take some time to get them looking good next year." Michael, I got your pictures of the lawn. So you guys remember Michael, we did a little bit of history. He was Tivoli 419, got rid of all that, went to Hotoma 31. He was doing the single stripes. We all looked at it and we thought, not bad, but not spectacular either. I wonder if I have the picture from last week that I can show everybody. Maybe I do, maybe I do, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Okay, well, he was doing single stripes. Yeah, here we go. No, that's way back. Let's see here. No, maybe. Yeah, maybe this. No, I don't have it. Okay, at any rate, this is what his lawn looks like now. I suggested, hey, given your lawn, you can go with doubles and it would look pretty good. So to me, that looks better than the singles that he was doing. So he started with the dark stripe closest to the patio, to the driveway, which I'm a fan of. And I just think that frames up nicer than the singles. Like the singles weren't really defined, and you can still kind of see you're still trying to reset it, Michael, and it'll get better. Just be consistent with your passes, and it will improve. It will get better. It'll get more crispy and it'll look good. What I'd say though is don't only mow the lawn in this direction. Make sure, for me, I would also cut it 90 degrees to this. So, you can do your double wides this direction and also do double wides the, like going from, as we're looking at this picture, from like right to left, not just only, from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, also cut from like 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So make sure you're varying that mowing pattern each time for, to prevent cutting issues. But overall, it looks good, man. I like it. It's going to get better. It's only a week of doing that, and already, to me, that looks better than it did before. So I would, for me personally, I would just keep rolling with that, man. Looks good. All right. To Trilla from Manila, he says, "Hey Ron, happy Friday, everyone. I agree with the advice you gave Ahmad. I cut my primo to help the lawn recover from my late season scalp. Although it recovered, the growth has slowed down a lot." Yeah. So if you're scalping just for the sake of scalping, for me, I really wouldn't. Like you're really rolling the dice with a warm season lawn like Bermuda if it's going to come back and look really good if you go and scalp this time of year. Now, if you're overseeding, by all means, go for it. It's actually a good thing to do. But if outside of that, I personally would not. John says, "Hey, when are you planning on doing your soil test for your yard? And can we see your numbers when you do them for that beautiful Bermuda backyard? And can you show them for the Zoysia too if you want?" Yeah, I can do that. I will, I'll do? I'll do mine in October. That's normally when I do my fall soil test. So end of this month, early, end of September, going into October, before I do my last fertilizer app for the year, is when I'll do my soil test results. So figure the mid-October live stream, I should have the results because it takes about a week or so to get them. So yeah, I will do that, John. It's a good, that's a good request. We'll definitely do that for you. All right. I'll put it on the calendar, for you to make sure that gets covered. All right. Next up is Michael. Actually, we did Michael Thomason's, and we got Toucan Sam. He says, "I saw a video where the makers of Spectacle Flow advised to put down an app of Spectacle and then apply some Celsius, since Celsius works well against young POA. Thoughts?" Are you sure they said Celsius, or perhaps they maybe meant certainty? Celsius for controlling POA annua, not great. I'd go so far as to saying like just not great. I mean, at all. I think if they said certainty, yes, I could see that. And there are some folks that will go out and will put, I've done it myself. So if you wanted to, say you were late on your pre-emergent app, or you were late on getting like your spectacle out, for your, not for this app, but for your December app, I know of some folks, and I've even done it myself, putting a little bit of certainty in the tank along with spectacle for your December app. Like that, I've actually done it myself, and that's fine. Celsius, I'd have to see the video you're talking about. I think maybe you misheard and they said certainty, because certainty is what you really would want to use for POA annua control in the fall. And and you can use that along with spectacle if you want to. All right. So yeah, I'm good with that. Toucan Sam. I mean, really, with anything else you're doing. So if you're going to use, say Prodiamine, you could go with you could go with certainty. You could go with image with a Mazaquin. That would be an option as well too. But again, for me, for sedge control, I'm really a big fan of certainty. So I'm not sure which video you saw. If you can, email it to me if you have the video. Ron@golfcourselawn.com. Where's my email address? Right here. Yeah, send me an email with it. I'd like to take a look at it, but I'd be surprised if they said Celsius. I think you probably heard of certainty instead of Celsius. And if they said Celsius, the person probably misspoke. I would for sedge control, you really wouldn't use Celsius. You'd use certainty. All right. Andrew Phillips is up next. He says, "Hey Ron, happy Friday. Looking forward to another great show. Getting geared up for my pre-emergent. I like it. Love to hear that, Andrew. Have you moved yet, man? I know you were looking to sell your place and move somewhere else, but I'm not sure if you had a chance to get out there and do that yet. You had to keep us updated." Spencer Sharp, he says, "Evening, Ron. Looking forward to the live stream. Emailed you earlier regarding my renovation. My question has already been answered. Thank you. Hit that like button, guys." So Spencer sent some pictures earlier showing what it can take to take a lawn from 0 to hero. And I got to tell you, I got the picture and the pictures, the two of them, and I was color me impressed. The lawn looks really good. From where it was to where it went to, thing of beauty. All right, I think you guys will agree. So here's where he was before, which, I mean, it's a lawn. There's some grass in there. If you look real close, we get you off the screen here. If you look, there's some grass in there. I mean, there's grass. It's just, it's seen better days, but it went from that to that in this season. I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, even if you don't really like grass that much, you have to appreciate that. That's a pretty big change. That's pretty awesome, man. So awesome job. Great work. You can tell you did a really good job with all the prep and have been taking care of the lawn. It looks spectacular, man. And what's going to happen is next year it's going to look even better. Like where you are now, look at it, the way it looks now. This is just the foundation for where you're going to start next season. Next season is going to be even that much better. So, really nice work. Thanks for sending the pictures. I really appreciate it. And, it's good. It's great motivation for anyone else that's also looking to say, my lawn doesn't look that great. Can it get better? Hey, man, I mean, does your lawn look like that? Probably not, right? I mean, it may have some weeds in it, but probably it's not looking like that. But to go from that to that shows that with the right approach and consistency, you can actually turn pretty much any lawn around. It can absolutely happen. So great work, man. Thanks for sharing the pictures. Really, really do appreciate it. You can show everybody. You can tell all your friends and family. You can say, listen, look, you guys may talk trash about me, but on the internet, I'm a big deal. Look, you got to put some respect on my name. Because can you make a lawn go from that to that? No? Okay, then respect it. You can do that now. All right, Robert Rainey's up next. Says, "Good evening. What's going on, Robert? Hope you're doing well." So Robert has been, laying some amazing dormant stripes. He keeps updating us there in the private Facebook group for the Academy. And he's getting ready for his seeding, which I think I'm not sure if he's done it yet, but I know the lawn is all prepped and ready to go. I wonder if I can get a picture. Well, he's got a video that he posted here that I can't really download it, but I think I've got, I don't have any more pictures that are nearby. But at any rate, he's getting ready to overseed his lawn with ryegrass, and we're all here for it. It's going to look pretty amazing. All right, John Williams, he says, "Hey, question about your rain gutters on your house. What kind of system do you have for those? Do you hire someone to dig a trench and run them into the street? That's one of my off-season projects." They're just standard gutters, nothing special. Like I didn't go out and get anything like whatever the builder put on the house is what it has. What I did is the gutters so you guys have seen my lawn, for the front lawn. Actually, I can probably show this on video, kind of, maybe. Okay, so if we look I'm sure if I pan here. So you look at the front. Okay, so you see like the window there in the background, and you see the mulch bed at the top of the frame. So right where that window is, you can kind of make it out. You can almost see the little. If you look at the edge of the house, you can kind of see that little brown thing that's sticking out. That's the drain, the downspout that drains from the roof. Like, so most of the water from the front part of the roof drains there, and it used to go into the mulch beds, which made a tremendous mess every time it rained. Like, you'd have mulch washing into the lawn, and literally because the water didn't really have anywhere else to go, once the mulch beds filled up with water and it spilled out over the sidewalk, it would literally like run right down the middle of the front lawn and would cause a wear issue. Like, you'd almost like dig almost like a mini channel that that you would see that cause like some erosion problems. So in the off season, what I did is I just got some corrugated tubing, like the black corrugated tubing, like the flex tubing, and just connected that and then ran it along the house. So along where is it here? I can show you. So if you look here, we'll pause it again. All right, we go pan here. So along, you can't really see it here, but along like the house, you see with the brick there, like just underneath that mulch that you see there is the corrugated tubing. So that literally runs down that spout along under the mulch bed, like right there, and it dumps out onto the driveway. So that's how I got around that. I fixed the issue with a washout. One of the best decisions I ever made, like literally one of the best decisions I ever made as far as managing water in my lawn. So if you're looking for something to do in the off season, look at how the water that's coming off your roof is draining. And if it's all dumping out in the front lawn and your lawn is not set up to where it it drains from the front lawn like evenly, or it's causing problems, the off season is a great time to fix that kind of stuff. So I did that probably 3, maybe 4 years ago at this point. And it's, again, one of the best decisions I ever made. Like, the lawn looks better for it. I don't have the wear and erosion issues anymore. I don't have mulch all in the front lawn like I used to have all the time. So if you got the time to do it, John, I absolutely would. Just any corrugated tubing that you can find at the big box stores will work great for that. All right. All right, Robert Rainey says, we have green fuzz throughout the yard. So here's what's happening, Robert. You're trying to knock the Bermuda back, and it's saying, nope, I'm not going out without a fight. I know this last time this happened, you put that other grass in, you put that, you sprinkled that all over me, and it's the Bermuda's fighting back. It's trying to show you that it still has some merit even this time of year, that you should still love it even this time of year. I don't think you're going to be convinced. I think you've already made up your mind. I think the ryegrass is going to happen, right? So you're 5 days in. Cool. 5 days in from, 5 days in from the ryegrass. It's already growing in. Cool. Very, very nice. Robert, it's probably too late now, but if you had at some point, if you can, send me a picture of like a close-up of some of the green fuzz coming through so we can show the folks how your ryegrass overseed is progressing. Nice. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Next up is Toucan Sam. He says, also, how often do you use a groomer attachment on your Toro? I do not have a groomer attachment on my Toro, so never. The video that you saw of me doing the groomer gauge, that was it's like 4 years ago, and I went to a golf course in near Stone Mountain to their facility and just filmed it there. So they had access to a cutting head, and they let me come in there, set up lights, and film the video. So that's where I did it. So, but I don't actually have, my Greensmaster does not have a groomer gauge on it. It's just a cutting head. No groomer gauge. I personally am not a fan and don't really recommend groomer gauges, attachments for home lawns, because you're not supposed to use them like a verticutter. They're really designed to be used for greens, right? For if you make like a bent grass green, that's where you really would use a groomer and people that want to use them on a residential lawn to verticut. You're using it the wrong way. You're just going to cause a lot of wear to the unit. It's not designed to be used like that. So if you're in the market for a greens mower, unless you get like a smoking deal on one, I would look for one without the groomer if you can. If you get one, it's a great deal and it comes with a groomer, so be it. But I mean, I wouldn't go out and seek out a greens mower with a groomer gauge. I keep calling it a groomer gauge, with a groomer attachment. I don't keep calling it a groomer gauge. There's no such thing. With a groomer, if your goal is to run it on a residential lawn, all right? Which is like pretty much everyone watching the show. Okay, next up is Buddy Brown. He says, what temperature do we look at when finding the best time to apply pre-emergent in the fall? 70-degree range in the high temp or low temp of day? I'd say low 70s, Toucan Sam. So when the when the temps are in the low to mid 70s, trending cooler is when you can get your pre-emergent out. So if you look at the forecast and it says, hey, the high today is going to be in the 70s, then, or like, 75 or cooler, then yeah, that's a good window to get your pre-emergent out, because POA annual starts becoming a problem in, when you get into the 60s. So we're trying to get the pre-emergent out ahead of that. Or if you're using Spectacle, you could just apply it now. That's just the way to go out and do it. You don't really have to worry about it. You don't have to be like dead on as far as that goes. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that when it comes to pre-emergent, the most important thing is that you have it applied before the conditions are ideal for the weeds that you're trying to control to start growing. If you wait until, well, now we're in the mid 60s now, or so average soil temps from the mid 60s, like now is the most ideal, based on all the research and everything, the most ideal time to apply your pre-emergent. If you're a bit off, meaning maybe it was a bit cooler than you thought it was, and you've already got Poa annua germinating, you're going to be dealing with more weeds in your lawn than if you simply applied it a couple of weeks sooner. So to me, the juice is not worth the squeeze as far as trying to get right up to the edge of like the absolute ideal time, especially if you're using a product like Spectacle, because the residual is so long. So get it out earlier rather than later. Like a lot of the pros around here that spray lawns for a living, they're already putting out Spectacle. So I would get it out if I were you. All right. Okay. So on that, actually, we got a couple of pictures here that came in. Brian with the rust. Ooh, yeah, that is rust. Ooh, not good. Brian, one thing I am seeing here though, your mower, hang on, let me get the picture up. Everyone else can see what I'm dealing with. Let's see, where can I save this? Where is Finder? Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you look here, let's rotate it, because what you sent me is like a really long landscape picture. Or a real portrait. Oh, whatever, it's gonna have to work. So this is the rust that he's dealing with in his lawn. That's definitely rust disease, Brian. Yeah, man. I mean, if that's all throughout the lawn, yeah, I mean, if you want to put a fungicide out, is not going to be a bad idea. I'm looking at the tips of your grass blades, and they don't look terrible. And it looks like your mower could be a bit sharper, but yeah. I mean, if you wanted to apply, pillar, yeah, you could go for that. Thanks for sending the picture. That's definitely rust. And I think we've got a blog post if you feel like just reading about lawn diseases. I think we've got one on rust. I'm almost positive we've done this one this year. We got melting out. I'm almost, yeah, there we go. I know. I thought so. So here we go. So this is a blog we have on tells you what rust disease is, how it affects it, what's behind it, and then like how to prevent it. And then big thing is like different ways to get rid of it, fungicide. And you see pillar SC, like what I just already told you about. So how I found this, in case you're saying, Ron, how did you find that so quickly? I'll show you. So if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, you go to resources and you go to blog. Before, when we were not as good, and you'd almost say we were bad, you just had to go through and try and find where things were. But now we have filters. So now if you go to lawn disease and we filter based on that, and then we look for the second page, I think is where it is, then you should find it, or actually I think it's on the first page. You're going to find it right there, right? So just use the filters. Filter by lawn diseases, and then just search for lawn disease, because we've got most of the common ones covered, and then rust is right there, okay? So I'm going to send this to you, BSS Smith, Brian, and the TLDR is apply a fungicide at this point if you'd like, but that talks all about some of the factors that contribute to it, what you can do from a cultural practice standpoint to help prevent it, and then what fungicides will help control the problem. All right. So hope that helps. If you need anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay. Next up, we have John Williams. He says, what about your air conditioning condensation line? What kind of system do you have for that to get away with water away from the house? Yeah. So unfortunately, the air conditioners, those units are on the side of the house where there's no grass. So it just kind of dumps like right off the unit. Like there's literally no grass there. It's like probably a 6-foot area from like the side of the house to like the edge of the property line, and like 4 feet of that is taken up by the air conditioning units. So there's not really, it just dumps like really right there. I don't care because there's no grass there. There's no grass. There's nothing that really grows there. So yeah, I don't have to really do anything to control or make provisions for controlling that drainage, John. Like where it dumps out is just fine. Okay, here's another question. He says, hey, Ron, what do you say about insect control throughout the off season? What kind of insects are prevalent and how do you control them? Yeah, so when it comes to insecticide, I'm a fan of just doing an app in April and then one in August. So we're trying to get ahead of like the cycle, the cycle of larvae for the for like grubs and other lawn damaging insects, and doing an application in April I find works well, and then another one in August, or if you didn't do one in August, this time of year is also great. The product that I use is a Acelepryn. I don't know if I have a bottle of it here. I do. Yeah, a Acelepryn SC or Acelepryn G if you like the granular. This has a nice residual to it, so just 2 apps per season works well for me. I don't do anything else in the off season. If you want to see what I do on my lawn, that's based on the schedule. If you go to resources and then you go to lawn care schedule, and then you go to monthly application schedule, and you scroll down. And by the way, we did fix this graphic for cool season. Someone pointed out that the aeration line was incorrect, and they were right. We fixed it, so thanks for that. But if you go here to April, you'll see April is when we recommend the insecticide app and Acelepryn is what I would go with. And then you scroll down to August, you see there again. And then really in the off season, there's not a whole lot. I mean, you want to put out like carbonized PNG, like a granular biostimulant, that's fine. But as far as any of the sides, the last thing you'll be doing towards the end of the season is pre-emergent. That's the last thing that you really would be doing, like in November, December. I've thought about adding that in here, but the challenge with that, with adding pre-emergent to November, is that really for your last pre-em app or your last pre-emergent app for it really depends on where you are in the country and your grass type. So if say have cool season grass, really I tell folks just a few weeks before when you're expecting the consistent cold weather for your first frost, get your pre-emergent out. And then for Bermuda, if you have like warm season grass, then you could say, then my recommendation as far as November, December would work well. So that's why I haven't added that. I'm still debating on whether or not to add that a line about like a November, December pre-emergent app. But that's write a small paragraph saying if you got cool season, like really this is your guidance. If you have warm season grass, then this is your guidance. So maybe I'll do that. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, John, Acelepryn, a couple times per year, April, August is what I do, and works great for me. All right, nothing in the off season. All right, Gavin Moore is up next. He says, hey, Ron, I did overseed for 8,000 square feet. I put down Primo Max using 0.4 ounces in 4 gallons of water. Backpack is correct. It seems to be working. Have a great show. So you did 1/10 of an ounce in 4 gallons. That's a touch. Well, it depends on your grass type. That's a touch light, Gavin. You could do like 1/2 an ounce. You could have been a bit heavier. You could went like 1/2 an ounce, so 0.125 ounces per 1,000. If you're doing it every 2 weeks is your half rate. But if you're seeing some control, some regulation with that, then that's fine. But you could have gone a bit heavier, and it would have been perfectly fine. That would have been okay. All right. I'm glad to hear that it's working well for you. That you're using Primo to slow down the growth of your Bermuda grass as you get ready to overseed, and sounds good. And then John has another comment here. He says, to think ahead just a little bit when the season starts, what are the products that I should have on hand? I want to make sure I begin the season to be a big step ahead for next year. Yeah, so what I would say is make sure you have your pre-emergent ready for next season, a soil test kit, so get that ready for early in the season, and then a granular biostimulant like carbonized PNG. That's what I would start out with. So if you are looking like what I do at the beginning of the season, I do a soil test, I do my pre-emergent, and then as far as like inputs that help the lawn, help grass grow, help improve the help the lawn kind of get woken up and on its way, then carbonized PNG, and then my first fertilizer app of the year is our 12024. So as far as like fertilizer, if you scroll up here, you'll see it. You'll see carbonized PNG and the fertilizer. It's listed there. Literally, like this is what I do, guys. But if you want me to, I can show you the actual products. If you go to shop and then lawn fertilizer, As far as fertilizer goes, this would be your initial for the season, John, with you being in Savannah, and then for your granular biostimulant, carbonized PNG. So this guy to start the season, and this guy to start the season, right? Those are the two that I would go with as far as that goes. So pre-emergent and those two products, and you are good to go. You're good to go. All right. Okay. Next up is Mr. Jeff Hiroji. He says, "Hey Ron, hybrid Bermuda from Katy, Texas, out of town for 10 days. Real mowing at 1 inch. Is it better to mow every day or every other day to get it back down to 1 inch? Thanks. Either way will work. I'd say every other day. If you, Jeff, if you're trying to work it way back down to 1 inch, yeah, every other day would be fine. 10 days not mowing. Ooh, so what do you end up at? Like 1.5 inches, I imagine. Probably between 1 1/4, 1.5. With 10 days of no mowing, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. It's also slow. It's actually not. It's not that. Well, you're in Houston. It's pretty hot there. So yeah, you probably did grow 1/2 inch in the 10 days that you weren't mowing it. So yeah, every other day. Every other day is what I would say, Jeff. And you'll be back down to 1 inch in no time. All right, Sir Roger Lewis, he says, Ron, I recently put down Insecticide Weed Stop Killer to kill off a lot of weeds. What is the best option to take care of all the dead weed yellow spots all over my lawn? The lawn is ugly now. So really the thing is time. You can rake out the dead weeds if you want, but by getting rid of the weeds, if you have, what kind of grass do you have? You didn't say. Okay, if you have like Bermuda or Zoysia, it will eventually spread into those areas where the weeds used to be and fill in. But yeah, if you've got a lawn that's largely full of weeds and you use a herbicide to get rid of it, like where the weeds were is going to like be yellow and dead because they're not there anymore. So if you've got a cool season lawn, then you can overseed. You could use grass seed to recover it and get things on the right track. But if you've got a warm season lawn like Bermuda, St. Augustine, Zoysia, it's just going to be a waiting thing. I mean, you could transfer plugs and that kind of thing, but really it's just going to be patience, is what I would say, Roger. And the next thing I would say that you can also do is you use that product to get rid of the existing weeds while we are, again, I'm answering this question assuming you have a warm season lawn. While we're waiting for the grass to grow in and fill in those areas where the weeds used to be, get your pre-emergent out, like apply pre-emergent, because that's going to make it more difficult for the weeds to reestablish in these areas that will eventually become bare dirt when the dead areas are gone, or the weeds are removed. But again, if you got cool season grass, then you could just overseed to recover it. So it's got to get worse before it gets better sometimes, man. I mean, you could take a look here at Spencer's lawn. I mean, that's before not great, but now it looks like that. So sometimes you have to go through the ugly to get to the good. So just keep working on it, man. Just stay consistent. You got rid of the weeds. Again, depending on the kind of grass you have, I would consider a pre-emergent app because that's going to help prevent the lawn from relapsing, prevent from like weeds like jumping into the area where the old weeds used to be. So just something to consider. All right, Asian Dad says, should you do a summer scalp in the summer, and how long before Bermuda grass recovers after that? Thanks, Ron. So should you do a summer scalp in the summer? Yes. If you're real mowing your lawn and you are looking to restore the cut quality, then yes, a mid-season scalp or a mid-season verticut is a good idea. And how long the lawn recovers, if you did it in the summertime, a week, 10 days, it'll look pretty good. If you're mowing it, say after you scalp or verticut, if you verticut, it's just really not going to look that bad after you're done. If you scalp it within 10 days, 2 weeks, it's going to look pretty good again. Just pick up your mowing frequency and the lawn will recover pretty quickly if you do it during the summertime. All right. So yes is the answer to your question. And as far as for it to recover, not long during the summer months. Again, that's when Bermuda grows most aggressively. All right. So hope that that helps. All right. So next up we have Colby. I just got some pictures from you, so I guess you. I'm not sure what this one is. Okay, so the next one we have here is Patrick Mahaffey. He says, Ron, new to the show. I'm on week 2 after top dressing, live up in Brazelton. How long before I can use pre-emergent? There's no correlation. So if you just top dress, it's fine. If you want to do pre-emergent now or this weekend, you can do that as well too. Where you want to be careful with pre-emergent is if you are, like, say you had a brand new lawn. So you just went out and you told me, hey, I just did a lawn renovation. I just freshly sodded Bermuda, just freshly sodded Zoysia. And do I want to do pre-emergent like this weekend? I'd say, you may want to wait. You want to give it a couple of months before you apply pre-emergent. But just top dressing, that's going to be fine. That's not going to, I mean, you've already got an existing lawn. You put top dressing material on it to help it grow through. Pre-emergent isn't going to negatively really affect that. So if it were me, I would get it done now. I would do an application now and then another one in November, December. Again, depending on your budget, the best product for a fall pre-emergent on warm season turf grass, which you have because you're in Brazelton, you're not far from me, is this stuff, is Spectacle Flow. So go with Spectacle. It's what I would recommend. Not inexpensive, but that one bottle, unless you've got a massive property, is going to last you, 3, 4, 5 years. It's going to last you a really long time. So it's well worth the investment, given the amount of headache that it keeps at bay. All right. So in case you're looking for it, Patrick, I will, I'll send you a link to it here in the chat. And look at you, man, living dangerously. Top dressing your lawn late August, early September. Living dangerously. I like it. Go for it, man. Keep us posted as far as how it does. And again, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you. And if I can help out with anything, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Hinkles Pro Golf is up next. He says, thanks God it's Friday. Turf Talk. Oh, cool. That's awesome. And hopefully another question from Hugh. All right. Okay. Next up is John Williams. He says a handful of that carbonized PN would do wonders for the bare spot. Yeah, that'll help as well too. That's a good point, John. And then Robert Rainey says you should totally cater to cool season folks by doing an overseeding. Get behind me. Get behind me, Robert. I can't do it. No. Can't do it. You gotta have me mowing year round, man. It'd be weird. The only area that could possibly happen would be the vanity strip. Like I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm just not doing it. And I've already done my pre-emergent, so it's probably not gonna work that well. So shucks. Missed my opportunity, Robert. Missed my opportunity. I mean, I guess I could get out there and till and do all this stuff to try and improve my chances, but it just sounds like a lot of work, man. Why can't I just live vicariously through you guys? You guys are going to look awesome. I'm going to show you. I don't want to steal your shine. If I go out and I overseed that section of lawn, then I'm going to be showing that on the show versus it'll literally be the Robert show. I'll be like, hey guys, all you guys with warm season lawns, here's what you could have had if you overseeded your lawn. Well, it'll be like literally like the rainy update every week. And I don't want to steal. I don't want to take that away from you. I don't want to take away your thunder. I want to steal your shine. So I think I'll leave that for you. And Robert says, I don't know what Ron is talking about, Devin. All right. Provisions Barbecue is up next. He says, hey, Ron, I just got back from my question. I already seeded. It's 2 weeks post-seeding, and it's germinating well. So I should have strong seedlings. So that was really the question. Did I mess anything up? At this point, it doesn't really matter. I think, what was your original question? Was it about pre-emergent? So I can find it really quickly. I'm not seeing it. If your question was about, oh no, yeah, so it knows about grub killer. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. You didn't mess anything up. Provisions Barbecue, you are good to go. It should. Again, assuming you apply the product at the correct rates per the label, you shouldn't have any negative effects on your seeding project. We're not going to have any negative results. All right. Okay. So next up we have Devin. He says, will do. I'll check the calendar tomorrow. Just finished the course aeration this week. I do know what you're talking about. As always, win or lose, roll tide, roll. Robert. Yeah. So, okay. So I can, since we both know. So Robert is a Knowles fan. He's that's a football team in Florida. I had to look it up too. So yes, they're a football team in Florida, and they apparently beat the team that Devin is a huge fan of, the Alabama, the ex-Saban team. And so yeah, so because Robert was all Robert was like, like a man with a fresh ground Israel mower. He was happier than that. He said, "Hey man, it was awesome, man. You see my knolls, they're awesome." I said, "Man, yeah, you're living really good, but Devin is not. He's not happy. I'm sure he's not happy." He's like, "Oh, he's like a Bama fan." I'm like, "He seems so nice though. He's such a nice guy." I'm like, "I know, right? Like most Bama guys are not really, they tend to be kind of extra, but he's not that way." So that's what the whole backstory is about why I was saying, we had a bad upset in football. Well, I guess a good upset if you're a Knowles fan this past weekend. But you never know. I think Bama will be back, man. They've got a good team. They will come back in. All right, yeah. And I did get the picture. Brian, thanks for sending that. And yeah, I think if you want to get a fungicide out, it's not going to hurt anything to do that. I mean, because that does look pretty bad as far as what you're showing me in that picture. All right. Provisions Barbecue says also, so I did a full renovation. Another question I have in the spring is, do you recommend a pre-emergent or overseeding to get the lawn healthier and thicker, and then just use post-emergent when things pop up? Yeah. So if you're it depends on how long what you're planning for your pre-emergent on Provisions Barbecue. 6 months really minimum is what you're going to want for a cool season lawn. So if you're doing your overseed now, so September, October, November, December, January, February, March. If you're going to do your overseeding in like late March, April, which for a cool season lawn wouldn't be bad, wouldn't be terrible, then yeah, that would be okay. I would not do it now. If pre-emergent for the fall is absolutely a no-go. You're going to want to just manage any weeds that you have in your lawn with post-emergent herbicides. But 6 months from now, if you wanted to look at doing a pre-emergent app, perhaps maybe even if you decide to go that route, go lower on the lower end of the rate card, that would be okay. But I would not do it now, because you already put grass seed. You're already getting some germination. Like you're the thing that you really wanted to happen this time of year, which is apparently your renovation through seeding or just sticking the lawn up with grass seed, is happening. So that's got to be your focus. I would omit pre-emergent for the fall. The soonest I would look at it would be 6 months from now, which is like March-ish, thereabouts. All right. All right. Next up, we have a question. Is Egalitarian. He says, "Hey Ron, thanks for taking your time to answer questions and share your experiences. Hey gang, the least we can do to help Ron out is hit the like button to show our appreciation for the live stream." I agree. So we got 86 folks in the live stream, 75 likes. We're definitely trending. We're on the right direction, on the right path. But if we can just get like a few more, 10, 11, 12, something like that. Those of you guys that are sitting down, just not wanting to move your mouse over and hit the like button. If you can do that, I really would appreciate it. Really would. Costs absolutely nothing. Free way to support the channel. Jason Carney says, "Sorry, buddy, forgot to say this earlier. Go Dogs." We got to see, man. I mean, the Dogs, they did win, but they should have won. They played. They played Marshall. I mean, it's funny. It's funny. A buddy of mine who is like probably, I hate to say like the biggest Georgia fan, but he's a really big Georgia fan. Like as long as I've known him, he's always had tickets to Sanford Stadium. So he's a huge fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. And I said, "Yeah, man. So you guys have you're excited the guys are playing?" Said, "Yeah, well, we're playing Sisters of the Poor and Blind this weekend, so we should win." And for the most part, it was a pretty, pretty one-sided game. So we'll see when they have to play someone that's actually good what happens. We shall see. All right, Buddy Brown's up next. Says, "Can I do Prodiamine this week at 0.4 rate, dithiopyr in December, and then Prodiamine at 0.4 rate again in spring? If yes, what rate for the dimension in December?" So here's the thing: I wouldn't do that. If given the choice, I would do Prodiamine for both your app now and then your one in December, and then Dimension for the spring. And here's why. So Dimension is one of the. There's a few pre-emergents that will do this. I think Spectacle has some reach back for some weeds too, but Dimension has or dithiopyr has reach back for young crabgrass. Meaning, if you have some young baby crabgrass growing in your lawn, it can control that as well as prevent it. So given that crabgrass really doesn't start germinating in December, it starts germinating in the springtime. If it were me, dithiopyr is better used as your spring pre-emergent choice versus your fall. You can do whatever you want, but if it were me, I would do, I would do it in the, I would do Prodiamine now and then another app in December, and then just save your dithiopyr for your springtime pre-emergent. As far as rates, you're gonna have to look at the product you're using. Depending on the granular, whether you're using granular or liquid, just follow whatever the rate is, and just go with that. If you have trouble figuring it out, if you want to send me an email like after the show and say, "Hey, this is the product I'm looking at using. What rate would you use?" I'll do my best to to give you an assist, buddy. Since you asked the question during the live stream, I'll take an email from you and help you out if you have a particular product you want a question answered for. All right, Ron Lofton is up next. He says, hey, Ron, I am thinking ahead for the spring for Bermuda grass. You had a golf course superintendent on about 6 weeks ago. Yep, he's on here now. Devin, the guy in the orange, his icon is orange, is Demur91. That's him. He says, did he say to start pre-emergent in March to stop Bermuda grass seed heads? Yeah, so yes. So as far as pre-emergent, this year, I did the same thing. I started to, as far as just a test, I started using Primo in a new mid-March. Normally, I would wait until mid-April, early May to do it, but I wanted to see if I got it in the plant a bit earlier, what results I would get as far as seed head prevention. So I started it earlier this year, and I really liked the results. And he said that, yes, he did say the same thing. You did hear correctly. Like, one of the benefits of Primo, of Trinexapac ethyl, is that it does suppress seed heads. So if you look on the label, like one of the things it'll say is, hey, if you got Poa annua in your lawn or in your greens and you're trying to make it like less apparent, you can, one of the use cases for Primo is to help suppress seed heads, but you have to have it in the plant prior to the conditions where seed heads are going to become a problem. So when you start to really see that on a Bermuda lawn is going to be in like May, when it starts to get really hot, when temperatures really begin to take off. When you transition from cool temperatures to warmer temperatures, whenever the lawn begins to see stress, one of the stress responses is for it to throw seed heads. So if you have Primo in your Bermuda lawn, even if you did it like in mid-April, that's going to be fine. If you want to go earlier, you could. Yes, so that is going to help. You're going to see a noticeable reduction in the amount of seed heads that you have in your lawn. Like this year, I hardly saw any in my lawn, and I started like mid-March just to test it this year, just to see what would happen, and I really like the results for that. So yes, you did hear correctly, Ron. You did hear correctly. It's absolutely a use case. If you read the label for Primo, there'll be a section in there talking about seed head suppression. It talks about Poa annua, but it also works on Bermuda grass too. So yes, you absolutely can do that. It's one of the many uses of the great, amazing product that is Primo Max. It is Trinexapac ethyl. Awesome product. Only problem is there's life before it and life after it. Once you start using it, don't really want to stop. It's great, great product. All right, next up is, okay, it's not for me. He says, yeah, I have the certainty ready for surgery. I guess you were saying for Poa when you get it. I appreciate that, and I'm seeing a little bit, but I've got certainty on deck. Okay, cool. Next up is Darth Sidious. Man, it's so kind of dark, man. Why you gotta have a handle like I mean, it's okay, man, but whatever. It says, hey Ron, I'm on holiday in Vancouver with my family. Just wondering if you're from Canada or America. So it's interesting. So I am an American by birth. I was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands, so I can claim a Lee Greenwood. I can say proud to be an American. But I grew up in the Caribbean. So I grew up overseas. Like my family is from the Caribbean, like up until, let me think. So I came to the States in the mid 90s to go to school in Houston for a couple of years, and then went back home and then came back in 2000. But largely I grew up in the Caribbean. I grew up on a little 8 square mile, depending on how you measure it. Some people say 11 square mile, but it's really like 8 square miles. 8 square mile island called St. Eustatius. So if you ever look on the map of the Caribbean, you get on Google Earth, you look for St. Martin and look for St. Kitts. And in between St. Martin and St. Kitts, you're going to see 2 dots. You're going to see a really small dot, which is like Saba, which is not the island I grew up on. And then you see a bigger dot next to it to the south of Saba, which is St. Eustatius. That's where I grew up. But no, I'm not Canadian. I'm not Canadian. I've been to Canada a couple times, but I am not Canadian. American by birth, grew up in the Caribbean though. I'm an island man. I grew up in the islands. All right, West Indian is, I guess if you had to say anything, probably, American by birth, but really grew up West Indian. So I like my roti and my oxtail and my callaloo. So I like to eat. So, because my mom is Trinidadian, my dad's from Antigua, so really they're like island people. They still live there. So, all right, enough about me. Next up is DJ Rockefeller. He says, hey Ron, is now a good time to spread granular pre-emergent on my Bermuda grass? Is it okay to spread 7020 fertilizer as well. Yeah, yes to both. If you want to get your granular pre-emergent out, yes. And if you want to go out and apply a higher potassium fertilizer this time of year, yes. Yes to both. Yes to both. Let's see here. Roger Lewis Sr. says, on a lawn budget, what is the best pre-emergent and post-emergent to use as we head into fall? I have a mixture of ghetto grass, tall fescue. Hey, it's green, right? Tall fescue, and I think Bermuda. Wow, that is quite the combination. I live in Suffolk, Virginia. So I would just go with like Prodiamine. Just go with, if you want granular. So if we go to shop and then weed killer, and we search for pre-emergent, then any of these three would be okay. So Prodiamine in a water dispersible granule, if you want like a liquid, something you can spray as a liquid, or if you want a granular, so either Prodiamine, Dimension, or Prodiamine as a granular. But really, either one of these two is what I would say. If you want the easy button, you just want a granular product, just go with this. All right, that's what I would push you in, Roger Lewis Jr., and you can use that on your tall fescue and your Bermuda. Like I'd say the best product is Spectacle Flow, but you can't really use that on fescue. So, yeah, Prodiamine it is. All right, so there you go. For a lawn care geek on a budget with a blend of cool and warm season grass, can't go wrong with Prodiamine. All right, next up is Mr. Luis Ayapareño. What's going on, man? It's been a while. Hopefully you've been doing well. He says, Ron, good evening. I've missed a lot and need to catch up. Been using Podium this season. Looking forward to carbonized PNG shipment on Tuesday. Are super chats still a thing? Thanks again. So super chats are not a thing right now. If you want to support the channel, you can get Cash App, which is an app you can just get on your mobile phone, and you can send one like that way. That's our Cash App handle. And if you do that, it's a way for you to support the channel. I'm trying to see if there's another one. I got one from Archie Amos. Let me actually load it up. I normally have it running during the show so I can make sure I don't miss anybody. And I don't think I have. I think we are good. Let me see. Actually, wait. So the latest was from so John and Archie. So John Williams and Archie. So thanks you guys both for that. I appreciate it. So yeah, both of you guys have done that. But if you want to contribute as well, Luis, Cash App is the way to do it. All right. Okay. Diamond is stopping in to say hi before I watch Dexter Resurrection latest episode. Pray to the lawn gods for me, Ron. Why we gotta pray for the lawn gods? What's going on with your lawn? He says, everyone like, subscribe, and share, or your lawn turns yellow. Thanks so much, Diamond. I appreciate it. Thanks for the laugh, and enjoy your show. All right. Roger Lewis Sr. He says, Ron, leveling up my lawn care game. I like it. Purchase a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, battery operated. Is it the best option over a non-battery backpack sprayer? I'm excited about using it when it arrives. Yeah, so a battery powered one, I prefer that over a pump sprayer for just consistency. So as far as the consistency, as far as flow rate, it's going to be more consistent using a battery powered sprayer than using a pump sprayer. Now the positive to a pump sprayer is that they don't really need batteries, right? So if what you'll find is a lot of the guys that like on the back of the trucks of the pros, they'll have like pump sprayers, because a lot of times what they have in there is herbicides and they're just doing some spot spraying. So for that, doesn't really matter as much. They're not like blanket spraying a lawn. They've got like, whatever, some 3-way or Celsius or whatever they happen to have in the tank, and they're just going to go out and spot spray. And then for that, a pump sprayer is okay. But if you're going to be like, applying pre-emergent or doing like a blanket spray of the lawn, like the consistency and the flow rate really does matter, so you get a good result. So a battery sprayer is worth the investment. The only other thing I would tell you to invest in, Roger Lewis Sr., I'm not sure which sprayer you got, but invest in a set of spray nozzles. So these are the two that I recommend. The red one is for foliar sprays. So if you're doing like post-emergent herbicides, post-emergent herbicides, primo, like a plant growth regulator, liquid fertilizer, you would use the fine droplet. Pretty much any products you're applying where the goal is to to spray it on the leaf of the plant and just allow it to dry. A finer droplet is better suited for that, and the red droplet nozzle, this guy, is what you're going to want. Now, for your pre-emergent, or fungicides or insecticides, products that for the most part you want to get into the soil, that is where a larger spray nozzle, like the Flood Jet one I'm showing here, is going to be a better choice. You see this has like a big wide notch. It produces like much bigger droplets, which is what you want for a pre-emergent. So invest in a set of these, or you don't need like this attachment, but like just the nozzles, you can buy these separately. They're not that expensive. I think I've got links that I can send to you here. Yeah, I mean, all in, you're going to be at like less than 20 bucks for both of them, and it's well worth investing in them. I'm just checking these to make sure that these links are still good, because I did them forever and a day ago. But that one is still good, and this one's still good. Cool, so you're good to go. All right, yeah, so these, the only thing I would say to upgrade your sprayer game is going to be this. So at Roger Lewis, where are you? A lot of R's here. So that guy for foliar sprays, and then this one for your pre-emergent, fungicide, and insecticides. That's what I would go with, right? It's one of the best investments you can make in like getting a good result with the products you apply on your lawn. All right. All right. Next up, we have Adam Starks. He says, hey, Ron and lawn crew. Hope all is well. Great show. Enjoying it to the fullest. Like button. Thanks so much, Adam. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Archie Amo says, what's the rate for certainty when mixed with spectacle? Great question, Archie. Depends on what you're trying to control. So if you're going after Poa annua, then the rate is going to be anywhere between 1¼ ounces per acre up to 2 ounces per acre. So what that equates to in 1,000 per square feet speak is 1 large scoop per gallon per over 1,000 square feet for on the lower end of the rate card. And if you're going for say you already got Poa annua in your lawn, you messed up and you got like active Poa is already like making its presence known, then you can go at the higher end. So, and which would be 2 scoops. So I'll show you real quickly here. So certainty comes with a measuring spoon, right? You got a small end and you got a big end. It's pretty easy to see which one is which, right? So small, big. For Poa annua, the lower end of what's recommended on the label is 1 large scoop over 1,000 square feet. And then on the higher end, it's 2 large scoops over 1,000 square feet. So it's kind of weird because they say, for Poa annua control, 1 large scoop equates to 1.25 ounces per acre. But then for 2 ounces per acre, which is the high rate for certainty, they say go with 2 scoops. So you think it'd be like 2.5, but whatever. The math ain't mathin', but whatever the label says, right? So, but what I would tell you is this: for your fall app, if you're doing certainty along with spectacle in the fall, like December timeframe, you really shouldn't have a lot of Poa annua in your lawn that time of year. So I would go for the lower end. You know what I mean? So I save the 2 large scoops per 1,000 for the springtime where you have like active Poa in your lawn. Like if the Poa is already gone to seed head, that's when you got to break out the higher rate to really get a good result for controlling it. But if you're doing it mainly as, I won't say as a preventative, but to knock out any young Poa that's germinating, the 1 large scoop per 1,000 square feet is going to be just fine mixed with spectacle. That's what I did the year that I did it. And you know what? This year I'll do the same thing and I'll video it and show you guys what I did, just so you can actually see how I would go about doing it. So for the fall, 1¼ ounces per acre or 1 large scoop per 1,000 is what I would do if it were me. All right. Great question. Okay, next up is the Tip-Off Classic. Says, hey Ron, I have Xeon Zoysia yard, about 7,000 square feet. I'm using Primo Max at 1/2 ounce per 4,000 square feet, split app rate. But I'm seeing browsing or tip burn a lot. I can't wait for it to interact with your Zoysia next year. Yeah. So are you seeing that? You're seeing that now, even like you've been using it all season long, and every time you spray, you're getting tip burn. That's interesting. That's interesting, Tip-Off Classic, because it's that's like half of the low end of the rate card for Primo on Zoysia. So I'm surprised that you're getting any discoloration from that. Really surprising. But yeah, next year it will get some primo, and you guys, I'll video it, and you guys will be able to see how it does. Yeah, no worries at all. You'll be able to be along for the ride. You guys can be there for it if you like. All right. Okay, next up we have True Gator Fan. It says, can a rotary mower float like a real mower? Since my lawn is so thick, I'm starting to see scalping and errors I didn't before. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Any more will do it. Yes, yeah, and you can almost argue with a rotary mower it'll probably be a bit worse than what you'll see with a real mower. So yes, absolutely, it can do it. All right, Bryant Sharp is up next. Says, evening, Ron. I put down dithiopyr on Monday and have watered it in twice. Okay. There are still granules in the canopy. I want to mow, but will it diminish the effects of the pre-emergent? No, it shouldn't. So if you've already watered it in, that's fine. I mean, if you want to be extra careful, what you might do, Bryant, is not bag your clippings this next time when you go out and mow. So you don't, if you're assuming you're using a rotary, if you're using a real mower, it doesn't really matter. But if you're using a rotary mower, which can pick stuff up, then just don't bag your clippings for your first mow after the pre-emergent app. But you're more than likely just fine. I really wouldn't worry about it. If you're seeing a granule here and there, I really wouldn't sweat it. The fact you've already watered it in a couple of times, you're likely good to go. All right. Jason Carney is back, Georgia fan. He says, erosion area in the yard suffered this summer. Soil to red clay. That's not good. Ratios seem to be the issue. No soil to retain water. Gonna sand heavy in the spring. Would you agree with this assessment? Picture email. Yeah, so I would not only sand heavy, Jason. If it were me, I would do a blend. I would do, you can absolutely use some sand, but I would have some compost or rich organic material in there as well. So I'm not sure where you are. I'm imagining Georgia based on your team affiliation. The stuff that I would recommend is that level mix from Superside. It's a really good product. It's 70% screened USGA sand and also their compost, which is like 3 components in it. So yes, so that's the stuff I would use. That's what I would use on a lawn like what you're describing. I would not do 100% sand. I would do a combination I would do a combination of sand and compost. All right. That's what I would do. All right. So, and if you want the product, the stuff I'm talking about, I think I've still got a link for it. What is it? Henry.com. I think it's /top dressing. I think this is it. Yep, that's it. Cool. Yeah, so their level mix, if you want to see what I'm talking about, you can find it here. All right. So this is stuff you're going to want to go with, Jason. It's a bit more pricey than just getting sand, but it's really good product. The best part about it is you're not going to get a bunch of trash. You're not going to have a bunch of bark and stones and everything else other than sand and compost, which is exactly what you want. All right, and then Provision Barbecue says, anyone got his email? I got pics. It's ron@golfcourselawn.com. So it is this. That's my email address. All right, and unless your name is Provision Barbecue in email, be sure to say what your name is because then I won't know like who I'm talking to. All right, next up we got C. Brown Masonry. He says, hey Ron, I put my pre-emergent out on 2-month-old Tahoma sod, 31 in the back. I will have Tahoma 31 installed in the front and irrigation next season. I'm starting to see some mushrooms in the back now. Colby, I got the pictures that you sent, and you know what? Much like Michael Thomason, your Tahoma 31 is looking pretty awesome. So we can show the folks what you're dealing with here. Let me see here. I'm just going to do Colby. Let's see. So that's where you were. Man, this looks good. Man, you know what? That looks really good. I almost want some Tahoma 31, but if I switch to any, I don't know, if I were going to switch it, it probably would be Tahoma. But that's too much work, man. That's too much work. That's too much work this time. Not this time of year, but even just on the back lawn. All right, so Colby sent some pictures. Let's go with this is where he was before. Not looking great, but I mean, hey, you got to start somewhere. So that's where he was before. And this is Exhibit Awesome number 1. And then Exhibit Awesome number 2, which looks incredible, man. That is awesome. Color is really nice. Color looks great. Stripe action's on point. I mean, you were fighting that back lawn quite a bit, Colby. I know you had the 419 back there, and it was not working out that well. But tell you what, man, the Tahoma 31 is looking fire, man. It looks good. Man, wow. Yeah, even that area near the house is looking really good. Nice work. Nice work. Congrats. Got to, you know what? I'm gonna put some respect. I'm gonna clap it up for that, man. That's pretty good. Really nice. All right. So next up, we got Ryan N. He says, hey, Ron, hope all is well. Does pre-emergent affect sod establishment to the point where it will not root at all? St. Augustine grass, it can. So what I'd say for a warm season lawn like Bermuda, or really any lawn, if you're doing sod, give it 3 months before applying pre-emergent. Now, if you back the rate down, you use something like use a product like Prodiamine, you'd probably be okay if you went a bit earlier. But 3 months from the time of the sod going in, if you wait to do your pre-emergent, that's going to be that's just erring on the side of caution. So yes, because especially if you get too heavy-handed with the rates, pre-emergent can cause. I mean, it shows a more technical name for it, but it's often called root clubbing, meaning it can damage the ability for the grass to root, which you don't want on a newly sodded lawn. So once you get past the 2 to 3 month mark with a Bermuda lawn, Zoysia lawn, and especially if you are backing the rate down, like you're not going on the heavier end of the application rate of what the rate card gives you, then I'd be fine with that. But what you don't want to go out and do is, say if you're sodding this weekend, I would not go out and also apply pre-emergent on the lawn this weekend as well too, on fresh sod. I wouldn't do that. So yeah. So would it prevent you from not rooting at all, St. Augustine grass? No, I mean it would. Even if you applied a pre-emergent on a St. Augustine lawn, it still should root eventually. But you're just working against yourself. I would not do it on a brand new lawn. If that's the question you're asking, I would not do that. Just no. I mean, I'd say if you were sodding this weekend, I'd say because you're in St. Augustine, so you're probably in Florida or South Texas. Get your St. Augustine in, get it, feed it, mow it, get it established, and then 3 months from now, if you wanted to consider putting out pre-emergent, that would be okay. But I would not do it at the same time as you apply the sod. All right, C. Brown Masonry says, my neighbor wants me to spray his lawn with pre-emergent, but he has moles. Can I mix a Aceleprint and Spectacle Flow together? Yes, you can. You can mix Spectacle and Aceleprint. No problem with that. That works just fine. All right, and then Mr. Hertz60 says, hey, Ron, how long after a cool season grass overseed can growth regulator be started again? 2 weeks. I had germination and it's good. I know the end is near for the year. Maybe just wait till spring. Yeah, so here's the thing. If you're going to use it to prevent the existing grass that you have from growing or to slow that down, I would use it that way. I would not use plant growth regulator on a brand new lawn that's just germinated. So if your question is, say I'm putting out, let's pick something that germinates quickly, like say ryegrass, right? So if you went out and you planted ryegrass this weekend, 2 weeks from now, you got some nice germination, the ryegrass is starting to find its way in the world, I would not get out then and go and spray it with plant growth regulator. No, I would not do that. So if that's your question, then don't do that. Wait till spring. Because couple of reasons, Mr. Hertz60, is that, we're getting towards the end of the season. While cool season grass has still got, a lot of growing still left, it's still going to be fine. Like with a brand new lawn, like why take the chance of stressing or doing anything to really slow down the growth of a brand new lawn that's trying to establish? Like the best thing you can do for that new lawn is going to be feeding it and just mowing it regularly with sharp equipment. Like that's the best thing you can do. Like feed it, 30 days in, put fertilizer on it. And then as soon as there's like fresh growth, get out there and just start mowing it. That's when those two things are the best things that I'd say you can do for a brand new lawn. I wouldn't go out and do growth regulator. Armados Casillo says, what solution should I use for stickers? Depends on the kind of grass you have. If you have Bermuda, I would use Celsius. If you've warm season grass, again, depending on the kind of grass, you could use like a 3-way. like Triad would work okay, but I mean for a warm season lawn, Celsius is what I would go with, Armando. Hard to answer without knowing exactly what kind of grass you're working with, but yeah, but I'll show you two options. So for warm season grass, go to shop, go to weed killer, and then you can go to this guy here, Celsius. That would be a great option for your warm season lawn. And then for your cool season grass, assuming you've got Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, or fescue, then Triad. Where is it? Here. Then like a three-way like this would be a good choice. This is what I would do. All right. You don't want to use this on bent grass. Fine fescue, kind of iffy, but I mean, but turf tall fescue, Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, like the most common cool season grasses that folks have. You can use that, and it'll be fine. Okay, so I will send you links to where you can find both, and you can choose accordingly based on the kind of grass that you have. All right. Nope, that's not Archie's, not Armando. So there you go. All right. And I used to send pictures of the Tahoma 31 before and after. Yeah, I showed everyone C Brown. It's looking awesome. Keep going, man. It's looking really good. You did a great job with that grass. Visa Smith says, can I do a Celsius certainty recognition and Fusillade in the same tank? I've never done that combination. And I guess, what are you looking to accomplish? Because so recognition and Fusillade, if you're using those two herbicides, you're looking to control Bermuda grass in either a Zoysia St. Augustine or a Kikuyu grass lawn, like one of those three, right? So if you're throwing some Celsius and certainty in the tank, then you also either have like sedges in your lawn, and you also got like broadleaf weeds in your lawn. I'm inclined to think it would be okay. I've never done it. I've never done it to know what you would get. If you're going to try it, BSS Smith, what I say is go on the lower end of the rate card for both Celsius and certainty. I mean, we're already spraying recognition and Fusillade. Like Fusillade, you're spraying at like a little over half an ounce per thousand, and recognition at 0.03 ounces per thousand. So you're already using those at rates that can cause some temporary stunting. So if we're going to be throwing Celsius and certainty on top of that, I would want to like lean towards the lower end. Plus, also keep in mind, like recognition has control for sedges. So I the more I think about it, I wouldn't do certainty. If anything, I could see an argument could be made for adding Celsius to recognition and Fusillade for broadleaf control. But the more I think about it, I wouldn't do certainty along with recognition and Fusillade, because again, recognition controls POA, and it also controls a lot of sedges. And I mean, it's a more expensive way of controlling POA and sedges. Like I wouldn't use it in place of certainty if that's all you're trying to do. But if you're already doing a recognition Fusillade combination, you've already got your sedge control in there with recognition. So if anything, just Celsius is what I would add to that. I wouldn't do certainty. All right. So final answer. That's what I would say. Hope that helps, sir. May you go forth and conquer weeds in your lawn. That gets to also include some Bermuda grass you're trying to get rid of. But yeah, let's keep the certainty out of it. And just, if anything, Celsius along with the recognition and Fusillade is what I would do. All right. Next up, we have Adam Stark. He says, Robert trying to make you work out. Yeah, man, listen, Robert's a good influence, but he's a bad influence. He's one of these folks, Will, that you know what it is? I think, Robert's the kind of person that would be really good as like a coach. If he was coaching someone, he would bring out the best in you, because he'd be like, you know what? I see in you what you don't see in yourself. Like what Robert's probably trying to tell me is, Ron, I see the greatness you could have in a cool season lawn, in a ryegrass overseed. I can see it. I can see it that I believe in you more than you believe in you. That's probably what he's saying on his side. But the work. I don't want the work, man. I don't want that work in the winter. I don't want that work in the wintertime. But yeah, I think that's his thing. He'd be a good coach, man. Good motivator. Because I'm telling you, he got in the academy and started showing folks, hey guys, look what I'm doing here. here's the grass seed I'm using, and this is what I'm planning to do. And for lo and behold, 2 other folks, at least 2 more, are doing the same thing. So he is he's good at getting folks to do things. So every time I have a conversation with him, I always got to kind of like keep my guard up, like, because sometimes he'll kind of slide something in there that seems like a really good idea at the time, but then I have to live with it after the fact. All right. Okay. So next tech is Tech Savvy. He says, "Hey Ron, I picked up a used McLean reel mower as a compromise with my wife. Hey man, happy wife, happy life. I get it. I can't terrorize my neighbors with a line. I can't terrorize my neighbors with my nice lawn next year. I guess you're saying you can't wait to terrorize your neighbors with a nice lawn next year. That's cool, dude. I mean, again, McLean, if it's kept sharp, well adjusted, it's going to produce a good result. So if wifey was good with that, with the McLean, then roll with it, man. Roll with it. You can get a great sound of turf grass with any reel mower as long as it's sharp, well adjusted, and you're using it regularly. Kind of hard to miss. All right. Let's see here. John Williams says, "What say you, Ron? I'm about to spray Certainty and Celsius. Should I apply them at the low rate or is it Celsius to go at the high rate? For both of those, I have a doveweed problem." Yes, if all you're going after is doveweed, I don't know that I would add Certainty to the tank. I would just use Celsius, and you're going to go with the higher rate for doveweed, John. So sir, I would just leave the Certainty out, and again, unless you got sedges, and I would just use Celsius, just Celsius. All right. Next up is John Williams says, "Hey Brian, where can I get one of your Stripe Action shirts from? Are you planning on doing any? I guess for me, are you planning on doing any giveaways? Can we get some merch, please?" Here's the man. I'm having some shirts made, and then I want to see the quality of them. So here's the thing. I don't particularly like t-shirts a ton to mow in. I mean, I have a few that I use. I like to mow in like dry fit, or like the dry fit material. So I'm having a couple of shirts made, some t-shirts made in those to see how they come out. And then I have to see if I can get it in volume, enough volume that actually makes sense. So stand by. The order was put in, what is today, Friday? Wednesday, 2 days ago, Wednesday. So I figure by 3rd week of September, I should have them, and then I'll show them off and see what you guys think. And then I will see if I can get the volume to go up, and then you guys can get some merch that you can wear and wear with pride. And you can also use it out in your lawn, and it looks nice enough that you can just be in it and also be out in the lawn in it too if you wanted to. So, because I like dry fit stuff, I prefer that over like t-shirts. Okay, next up we have A-Rod. He says, "I have TifTuf. What should I do to get ready for the winter?" Pre-emergent, that's what I would say. You still got some time in the season to continue feeding it if you'd like, A-Rod, and just keep mowing it. So mow it pre-emergent this time of year. That's the big thing I would say. And then you can keep feeding it. I'm not sure what part of the country you're in, but I do my last granular fertilizer app in October. So you could feed it this month with a granular fertilizer of choice, and then you could do another one in October. So I can show you what I did. So for September, if you go to shop and then lawn fertilizer, I did Humic Max 1608 this month in September, and then next month to shut it down as far as granular fertilizer in my lawn, I will go with the Stress Tool 024. So this is what I use primarily throughout the season. And I start the season with this, and I end the season with this one. So this is a start. These are like the 12024 is like the bookends for me. I start the season with it, end the season with it. In between, Humic Max is what I roll with. So either of these two would be a great option. If you have soil test results, so they say that your soil is deficient in phosphorus, then this would be a good choice. All right. So any of these three, depending on what you're trying to achieve, would produce a good result in your lawn. So that's what I would tell you, A-Rod. Feed it pre-emergent and mow it. And I'll send you a link here to where you can browse and read through these to your heart's content. If you are looking for some content on weed prevention in the fall and fertilization in the fall, we just updated some blogs. So if you go to resources and blog, costs you absolutely nothing. You've got a blog on the best fertilizers to use this fall, and then how to manage weeds in your lawn this fall. So it talks pretty much about post-emergent herbicides and pre-emergent. So these are 2 blogs that we just updated that are front and center on the blog, on the store. Again, costs you absolutely nothing to read them. And the products I mentioned are linked in here, so you can just read through these in your spare time. All right. So switch back here, and I'll send you this. So fall lawn care tips. Boom. Find them there. All right. All right. You're very welcome, sir. And then next up, we have Offered NV says, hey, Ron, happy Turf Talk. I appreciate that, sir. And then next is Brett Curran. He says, how soon would you apply fertilizer after using Certainty or Celsius? It seems to act like PGR, and my grass isn't growing nearly as fast as when I put it down. It's been only a week. Here's the thing. You could do them literally on the same day if you wanted to, Brett. So the fertilizer and post-emergent herbicides or even pre-emergent herbicides, they're not connected, they're not linked. It's not like you are doing, if you do fertilizer, you can't do you can't go out and spray for weeds. So if it were me, let's say I had weeds all throughout my lawn and I also needed to feed it, if it were me, I would go out and put out a fertilizer, a granular fertilizer first, and then I would follow that up with my post-emergent herbicide spray. So you could literally do them on the same day if you want. You don't need to, there's not like a waiting period in between controlling weeds and fertilizing your lawn. So I would get out there and fertilize tomorrow if you've already got one. And if you don't have any, if you're looking to buy some, we have an awesome selection at the Golf Course Lawn Store. All right, so no need to wait. All right, Trenton has a question here. He says, hey, Ron, send a picture with photos. Ryegrass in California. Did my dethatch and aerate and top dress and seed today. Going to look first before it gets better, I suppose. I think I got some pictures for me. TJ, let us look here. What are you working with? Let's see what you're talking about. You got ryegrass. All right, so you get your dethatch and wow, yeah. So this is where you were before. Let's do this. I can show everybody. So that, and then I just rename them so I can easily reference them after the fact. Okay, so this is where you were before is what I'm guessing, right? So this is the before, and this is, which actually looked pretty good. I mean, it looks like a ryegrass lawn that's you know, trying to survive summer heat. I mean, the color is not amazing, but it looks better than most. Looks better than most. I gotta be honest with you. You can actually look at, you can tell. Look at you guys can't see it. If you look at the pavement, you can see like where it's hot, how the ryegrass is really struggling there, because that's, you know, the pavement or the, looks like a driveway or whatever, that's really hot there, and that all that heat, the ryegrass is having trouble with staying alive there. So yeah, you can tell it's hanging on for dear life. So that's where you were before, and it looks like this is now the after the work you just did. So yeah, like you said, man, it's got to get worse before it gets better, but it's gonna look good. It's gonna look good after you're done. It's gonna look good after you're done. Just keep with it. You know, get your overseed done, water it, feed it, and then mow it. Just mow it. It'll be you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go after the fact. You know what I mean? So thanks for sending the pictures. I appreciate it. And then Matt Jackson says, "Wow, right? I'm not sure whose lawn it is, but I guess you're probably talking about Colby's, right? Wow, indeed, right? Colby, you're not messing around, man. He came in swinging, man. You can't hate on that. Tahoma 31 looks so good. So good. You got his, and you also have Michael Thomas and another Tahoma 31 lawn. It's good looking grass, man. They did a good job on it. Good job. All right. Next up is SK. He says, hey, Ron, I really enjoyed your show. I have scattered areas with Clover, which I sprayed with Celsius and Certainty. Do you have another recommendation for Clover? Thank you. Nope. Those two, either one of those should be able to knock it out. I don't know if Clover's on the Certainty label, but I'm pretty sure it's on the Celsius label. It's probably on both of them. Clover isn't too hard to control, but let's, yeah, if you'd use either one of those, you're probably fine. But now I'm curious like you. Let's find out. Is Clover on the label? Let's see. It is. Yeah. So both of them, Clover's on the label for both of them. So if you look here, that is the Certainty label, and there you go. Clover's on there. So so yeah, if you did both, you did the right product. I wouldn't really go to anything else. It's a good option. It looks like Provisions Barbecue sent me some pictures. Let me create a folder for this. Prov BBQ. You know, you and Damon would probably talk. He's all about some barbecue, man. Do you know this brand? This is Cosmos. Like one of my buddies. He always sends me good barbecue sauce, but I think he's either a affiliate with them or does stuff for them or whatever. But it's he sent me some of their products, and it's been pretty awesome. Cool. Yeah. So this, okay, Provision Barbecue. I got your pictures. Yeah. So we'll show the folks. This is pretty cool. It shows a pretty good progress. So Prov 1, actually no, this is Prov 0. We'll say this Prov 0, Prov, and these are both the same. All right. So we'll just do this one. All right. And then 2. So we won't do 0. Okay. So this is where he was before. This is him doing his overseed. And man, it's coming pretty nice, man. I know you're all concerned about that fungicide that you sprayed, but this is what he was at before. This is the before. And again, looks really good, getting great germination. And this is the after. This is the current. Overall, looks quite nice. So you got it roped off there to keep folks off of it, but I mean, nicely done, man. Nicely done. That came in nice. Great work. Great work. Yeah. Again, the product you applied is not going to negatively affect that. And the pictures, kind of show it. It looks great. Only thing I would do is I would consider putting a mower on that here soon. I would absolutely start mowing that. Start high as far as your height of cut, but I mean, you really want to get to really start growing and thicken up and look really nice. Start mowing it. Start mowing it. Put a fresh blade on your mower. Make sure you use sharp equipment, and start putting a mower to it. It will only help your lawn. All right, let me see. So this is not those. It's a sidebar. Next up we got is Jonathan Alvarado. He says, is this for me? He says, yeah. He says, hey Ron, going into this fall, I'm looking for a great all-around pre-emergent that's safe for ryegrass to help prevent dowse and crab. So Prodiamine is what I would tell you. Prodiamine, dowse grass and crabgrass are not something you're gonna start seeing more of in the fall. Those are more warm season weeds, but still the answer is still the same. Prodiamine is what I would go with for a good all around pre-emergent, Jonathan. So we've got, you know what? I'm not going to send you the pre-emergent filter. I'm going to send you the Prodiamine filter because I don't want you to be in there and be like, oh, I'm going to get like Spectacle and put that on your cool season lawn and have a bad day. So what I'm going to send you is stuff that will be fine for your cool season lawn. Because I've got a Prodiamine filter. Yep, there we go. So any of these products that I'm linking here in the chat for you will work well. All right. So Jonathan Alvarado. All right. Good stuff. All right. Next up is Roger Lewis Jr. or Senior. He says, hey, Ron, do you recommend overseeding my dead weed yellow spots? By overseeding, do you mean I should double the application of seed recommended on the bag for those dead spot areas? No. Okay. So when it comes to overseeding, the big thing is Roger, is what kind of grass do you have? That's the first question we have to answer. If you have a warm season grass, and by that I mean St. Augustine, Bermuda, Zoysia, Centipede, Seashore Paspalum, I mean, any of those grasses, like warm season grasses, any of those ones I just named, you don't want to overseed. Like in those cases, your choice for establishing, for filling in bare areas are to either sod, which not really recommending that, or to transfer plugs into the area, or just wait, because those grasses have the ability to spread laterally through stolons and or rhizomes. So in other words, they're creeping grasses. They can kind of spread in and fill in bare spots on their own. So for a warm season lawn, no overseeding. If you have a cool season lawn, meaning ryegrass, Kentucky bluegrass, fescue, that is where overseeding can be a strategy for filling in bare spots. So, and as far as the rate of grass seed, any grass seed that you get, again, assuming you have a cool season lawn, like this whole question about overseeding is only if you got cool season grass. On the bag, they will almost often list two rates. They'll say, if you're establishing a new lawn, use this rate. It should be this many pounds per 1,000 square feet. Or if you're overseeding a lawn, use this rate, which will be X number of pounds per 1,000 square feet. So whatever the bag says, that is what I would do, and you can proceed accordingly. So again, Overseeding is really only a discussion if you have a cool season lawn. No overseeding on cool season turf grass. All right. Oh God, no overseeding on warm season turf grass. Getting confused. All right. Cool season, overseed. Warm season, no overseed. Final answer. Here's the thing, and just as like play devil's advocate, even if you could overseed warm season grass like Bermuda grass, which you shouldn't do, now this time of year would be a terrible time to do it because there's not going to be enough time really for it to establish. So it's not a great time. Even if you could do it, not a great time of year to do warm season lawn from grass seed anyway. All right, Jose Castillo is up next to say, good evening, Ron. I hope all is well. I have recently put out a Celebrant SC. Next will be pre-emergent. How long should I continue to fertilize with 14-7-14 and the micronutrients with iron? So really, I'd say this month, Jose, and then October is the last month that I do granular fertilizer on warm season grass. If you got a cool season lawn, you can fertilize, you can fertilize October, even in November, until you get to the point where you're about to have snow or frost on the ground. But for a warm season lawn, I shut it down in October as far as granular fertilizer because I'm trying to prevent disease problems like spring dead spot. All right. So the short answer to your question is you can apply it this month and again next month at a minimum is what I would say. All right. Next up, we are winding down, folks. You're very welcome, Jonathan. Glad to help. And next up is Provision Barbecue. Says, yeah, I've heard they had a pretty good weeds YouTube channel too. Admittedly, I'm a Meat Church and Chud's barbecue fanboy. Okay, you know what? I don't know. I have no idea why I'm even surprised at this. So you're telling me there's even camps for barbecue folk? So there's like the Cosmos camp, and I guess the Meat Church and Chud's barbecue camp. I'm not surprised. I mean, we have that in grass, right? So I don't know why I'm even surprised that with barbecue, you have your scene, you have your set that you rep. Like I'm like Cosmos gang, or I'm just, but it's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm glad that you also are into barbecue as well. I enjoy good barbecue myself. I do like brisket. Do enjoy brisket. It's funny. Growing up for me, like barbecue was really like chicken. That's all we ever had. It's like when you had barbecue, it was like chicken wings. There was not really like, oh no, that's not true. Chicken and sometimes if you're really being fancy, you do ribs, but mainly it's chicken because ribs are expensive. They're expensive here, but they're really expensive back home. All right, Oliver is up next. Oliver Ritcham, the man with the fancy Greens Master Mower. He says, late to the show, was laying down some pre-emergent, got rain coming in the middle of the night. I like it. He's like, man, so, I want to go on the live stream, but grass comes first. We got his pre-emergent done. So for any of you guys who don't know, I don't know if I've still got Oliver's lawn here. Maybe I do. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Oliver is also a Bermuda grass guy, but he's a man of good taste. And he sent this picture of his new equipment, his new mower, Greens Master 1026, which is incredible, gorgeous piece of equipment. And then you can see the work that it's able to produce. Great stripes, looking pretty awesome. Even if you don't like Bermuda grass, you got to admit it's a great looking lawn there, man. It's a great looking lawn. That is not Oliver. So that, and then that, pretty awesome. Well, good job, man. You made the right decision as far as getting your pre-emergent out before coming to hang out in the show. Well done. I like where your priorities are. All right, cool. And the last question that we have for the evening, this comes from Mr. Spencer Sharp, 98. He says, Ron, thanks for all the encouragement. You're very welcome. He says, question, what can I do to hold the line between my Bermuda and neighbor's tall fescue? I don't want to have any physical edge. Any tips? So here's the thing. There are herbicides you can use. You can use like Celsius, Certainty. Any of those are safe for Bermuda grass, but they are not safe for your fescue, for your neighbor's fescue. So for the most part, the fescue really shouldn't be creeping into your Bermuda grass too much. It really shouldn't, So you could. I mean, you could use like Celsius, like if you used a barrier, like a piece of cardboard to shield your neighbor's lawn, grass, because you don't want to get any Celsius on your neighbor's lawn. It's going to damage it. you could use that to like to kill or knock back the fescue. Here's what I would do if it were me, because Bermuda spreads more aggressively than fescue for sure. What I might do is just pull it. Like if you have some, like a little bit that's like, fescue is more of a bunching grass. If the bunch is kind of bunching the wrong way, like it's starting to get into up on your turf a little bit, I might just pull that out. Like just dig out that one little area and just allow your Bermuda to spread in there. You can use herbicides, but in that area, that line of demarcation between your neighbor and yours, like your lawn is going to look good and his lawn is going to show a bit of damage from that. So I don't know that you really want to go that route. I mean, if you're really, really careful, you can use you can use a worm herbicide like Celsius Uncertainty to control the fescue, but you're still going to have like some brown patches between your lawn and his lawn. So from a visual standpoint, I think you're better off just like getting out there with like a square shovel and like just maybe like obviously on your property line, and just kind of like cutting like any fescue that's there, just kind of cutting like nice and clean, kind of like digging that out, and just allowing the Bermuda to spread into there. Maybe put some plugs in there and whatnot, and that should do a pretty good job keeping his fescue out of your Bermuda. The problem really is going to be the other way around, like because your Bermuda is going to end up in his lawn. You know what I mean? Like fescue invading Bermuda, not really. I mean, not a really big problem. Bermuda going into the fescue, that is going to be a thing. So like he's going to be on the live stream sometime next year, probably saying, "Hey, I got this neighbor who just did a renovation. I got his Bermuda grass growing in mine. Like, what should I be doing?" So you're going to be more of a problem for him than he is for you in the over the next season or two. So I really wouldn't sweat it too much. The more I think about it, I really wouldn't even use herbicides. I would just kind of just make a nice crisp line, like pull or dig out his fescue and just allow the Bermuda to kind of ease right up to that nice clean line of demarcation. All right, that is what I would do. All right, you said, rewording my question, I don't want to see my Bermuda overtake their fescue. Good luck. So if you don't want to do a physical barrier, Bermuda's gonna Bermuda, man. It's gonna, I know it's not a verb, but Bermuda is gonna do its thing. And if you have Bermuda touching fescue, when it gets into like June, when it's hot and Bermuda really takes off, it's gonna absolutely spread into that fescue lawn. So physical barrier would be the way to go. Or he's gonna end up using like Pylex to manage it. A claim like Pylex or a claim, one of those two herbicides that are designed for controlling Bermuda grass in a cool season lawn, like Pylex is probably gonna be the better choice. That's what he's gonna end up doing. So he's gonna end up having to spend some money to keep you out of his lawn. And the way you can slow that down is with a physical barrier. But if you don't decide y'all don't want to do that, y'all want to have the lawns touching, then you get what you get and you can't pitch a fit. And the Bermuda's absolutely going to go into his. So just prepare for that. Prepare for that. That's absolutely going to be a thing. And he's going to want to use something like Pylex to keep you, to manage. She's not really say keep it out, just to kind of manage it, to keep it from getting too bad. All right. So hope that helps, Spencer. Sorry, probably wasn't the answer you were hoping. You're hoping there's probably going to be some magic thing, but unfortunately, you put a grass that is very aggressive in the way that it spreads, but you got a way to manage it. All right. So on that, we will cue the outro music. Thank you guys so much for coming to hang out in the show. As always, I appreciate it so much. If you're looking for an excellent assortment of pre-emergent to keep weeds out of your lawn, both this fall and into the springtime, take a look at what we've got to offer in the Golf Course Lawn Store. We'd like to help you out. If you don't get it from us, feel free to take advantage of the blog, because we got tons of great content we put out every single week to help you create the lawn that you're absolutely going to envy, your neighbor's absolutely going to envy. All right. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching. If I can help with anything, again, don't hesitate to reach out, and enjoy this weekend. Hopefully your team wins tomorrow if you're watching college football, and if you're watching the NFL, because I think today's this Sunday's when it really starts, right? Hopefully your team does well too. We'll see you guys next weekend. Take care.